That's umpire John Mathre, our match referee, Mr. MacArthur Phillip, standing captain of the Craft Masters, Vince Smith, and standing captain of the Sail Gros Islet Lights, Jad Goodman. Vince, I think you've got the coin. You'll give it a spin. Tails is the call. And heads it is. So, Vince, you've won the toss. What are you going to do?
I'm going to have a bat first.
You're going to have a bat first. It looks a little dry. Is that why?
Yeah, we just have a home ground, so we know how it's going to play. And so I think we're just going to take the opportunity and just bat first and score some good runs on there.
Okay, a big weekend for you. Lots of action there. We know you have a lot of support here. You'd be looking to give the fans a teaser as they come out tonight with a good start.
Yeah, as you can see, up in Gros Islet, we still had a good fan base, so I think coming down here is going to be bigger, and I think we have a lot to do for them, and then continue the tournament in the process.
Any changes to your 11 tonight?
Yes, and one change, Jamian comes in for JJ, Jamal James.
Okay, thank you, Vince. Go good. All the best. Jad, what would you have done had you won the toss?
Well, the intention was to bat first as well.
Yeah, because it does look a bit dry. Gros Islet, 2 losses on a difficult start. This is away from home, and the challenge would be to get back to winning ways because you are towards the bottom of the table.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the tournament so far, it hasn't been going our way as much as we would like, but there's still a lot of positives to take from those games that we lost. And I feel like despite us losing, we had a lot of star performances, and we know that we are a champion team and we can come back and throughout the rest of this tournament.
And you need perhaps to win all 4 to get up to the top 4.
Yeah, so you know it's a clear path for us. We know what we have to do, so it's just to go out there and play our best cricket game after game. Any
changes to your 11 tonight?
We have 2 changes. Ashton Alexander sits out for Beyond Fanis. I think that's the only change.
Okay. All the best. Go good, Jan. So the news from the toss is that Vince Smith of the Craft Masters, he has won the toss and is going to bat first. Indeed. So that was the toss. So the news is that the Choiseul Craft Masters will win. They have won. So that is going to be happening soon. The partners of SPL 6,
NBC Real FM and Vibe Radio. At this time, I'd like to ask everyone to please stand at attention for the playing of the national anthem of St. Lucia.
We're my fellas. We are ready for election. Because Good job, good job. Oh, let's promise. Okay. Where's the
The batters, I think, with Choiseul would be getting the better of it. Based on the dryness of it, I suspect it may keep a little low towards the second innings, but we'll have to wait and see.
Traditionally, Choiseul win toss bat first wicket. Normally, slow assist the spinners. So it's in the wheelhouse of the Choiseul team. They will be very comfortable in these conditions and they'll be looking to take full advantage of the first innings, maybe the better conditions of the pitch, and put a good score on the board.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to wait and see as the two openers come out for the Choiseul Credit Union Craftmasters. Jason Simon and it looks like David Livingston, and they are striding out. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they are in the field and they will be in action pretty soon. So Livingston with that big number 1668, the left-hander, and so the Craftmasters using left-hand right-hand combination, and the Sale Gros Islet Knights, they're gonna start with spin offer. Interesting. Lee John. So it's going to be Lee John. He'll operate from the southern end and he will bowl to Jason Simon. Our two umpires, Roylin Cooper and Squaleg umpire. No, that's not the Koto. So, Randy Napoleon. Randy Napoleon. He's that leg coming into the bowl. First delivery. Chopped away, but finds the man Melius at point. There's no run, so Roylin Cooper at the presiding end. Lee John with his second delivery. Moving in to Simon. Simon chops it away, finds the gap out towards the boundary. That will go pretty close to it and will get there. So short and wide and put away by Jason Simon, getting things off the mark. He gets off the mark with a boundary and a total 4 without loss.
Yes, well, Jason Simon, normally very strong square of the wicket, and Lee John a little bit short, and giving him a little bit of room, and he was able to find a gap between the backward point and point region, picking up his first boundary. Choiseul Credit Union Craft Masters, they've on the way with their first boundary, they 4 without loss.
Well, I think there's delay there. Umpire Roylin Cooper making a signal to umpire John Maffrey. Let's therefore look at the 11s. Got time to do that. So the Craft Masters, Jason Simon, David Livingston, Junior Henry, Trevor James, Vince Smith, Alvina Simon, Shonil Edward, Bronte Bess, Josan James, Jermaine Thomas, and Janelle Williams. So that's the Craft Masters. I think there was one change.
It looks like Jermaine Thomas. He's made a return from the under-19 Windward tournament and straight into the Craft Masters 11. Very exciting young player. Normally opens the batting, but the Jason Simon and Livingston have formed a very good partnership so far, and they will continue.
So we continue. Short turned away, but finds the backward square leg fielder, Jadel Cyril. And there's no run. So long on. And can't quite locate the other outside of the circle. This one is outside off. Looking to chop it away. Simon not making contact. Alexander taking it behind the stumps. John with that straight approach comes in, bows to Simon. Simon back, plays into the offside but can't score. The end of the over, good comeback, good overall end to the over. Just the boundary. No, still over in progress. My apologies. So a string of 3 dot balls. Lee John now to complete the over to Simon. Simon back, defending. So good end to the over, just the 4 coming off the bat of Simon. He's 4, that's the Craft Masters score. And we have had 1 over in game number 17.
Very good start here by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. Very good over by Lee John. As we look at the 11 for tonight, Jad Goodman, Kimani Melius will open the batting. Tariq Edward, who's been in very good form. Dylan Douglas, the overseas player. Simeon Gerson, Tyrell Chico, wonderful all-rounder. Lee John, who we saw just open the bowling. Jandel Cyril, Isaiah Jones, Davin Ford, and Bijan Fanis rounds up the 11 for the SPL Gros Islet Knights. Very, very accomplished team from them. They have done well in the SPL so far, and they'll be looking tonight to make a significant impact and spoil the party for the Choiseul Credit Union Craft Masters.
So just the one change there, beyond Fanis coming in. And he will come in with some pace. Also coming out of the Windward's win lot on the 15 competition. In fact, he's into bowling action with the second over. See, comes into Livingston, short, chopped away down to the backward point fielder. Lee John is there. And there's no run. So spin with the first over. And from the south, so they've gone to seam. In fact, there's also another change in the setup for the Gros Islet Knights. Ashton Alexander has in fact lost his place with Dylan Douglas
coming in,
the man with the glove. So Fanis coming in for Alexander. Moves in from the northern end to Livingston. Livingston gets one that is sending him back and defending back to Fanis. 4 without loss. And the Gros Islet Knights are starting with spin but going to the seam with the second over.
Yeah, very good start from the SPL Gros Islet Knights. They haven't given much to the Craft Masters batters. The Craft Masters on the other hand, they look a bit sedate. Listen, Simon, taking his time, maybe trying to get a measure of the conditions. First game here in the SPL.
Fannis with that athletic running comes in, bowls to him off the back foot. Livingston doesn't cue it properly, and a little indecision in the call for the run. Simon wanting it, Livingston wanting it, and then they both went back into their respective creases. Another dot ball. Good start by Fannis. Change being made in the field as offside field is being strengthened. Deep point, and I think it's deep extra cover. Deep point and deep extra cover. Fannis, fourth delivery, balls to Livingston, hit in the air but not getting hold of it, and away into the offside, and there's no run, but Livingston here being troubled by some bounce from Fannis.
Yeah, we're looking to see how the wicket will play, and it seems a bit sticky, the ball holding up on the batters, and Livingston, unlike the Francis Babalastic Stadium, the ball doesn't really come through and it looks to be sticking up, so we'll be looking to put some pace on that ball to get it through the wicket.
Fannis moving in to Livingston. Livingston short, pulled, top edge, doesn't get hold of it. Could be a catch. Oh yes, taken. So Beyond Fannis has done well to take that. It was short, and Livingston just maybe didn't have the pace he was looking for, and the ball coming off the top edge and going into the short mid-wicket position, and Fannis getting around to take the cotton bowl chance. So a very good result for Fannis. He's yet to concede a run, but he has accounted for the loss of David Livingston going cotton bowl, and he's gone without scoring. Choiseul Craftmasters, they're 4 for 1 in the second over.
Yes, very good bowling there by Bijan Fannis. I think he assessed the conditions well pretty early, and he decided that to hit the wicket and get whatever reaction he does from that wicket. And David Livingston, he was slow onto this one and didn't get the timing that he needed, and was just able to lob it into the mid-wicket region, and he picked up the catch. So cotton bowl, he's gone without scoring, and the Craftmasters, they are 4 for 1 into the second over.
Indeed. And so actually, Alpha, it looks dry, the wicket, but does seem to have some moisture, it appears. As we look at the rest of the batting, Junior Teapots Henry comes in at number 3, and still quite a bit of batting for the Craftmasters, but at least they've got the confidence of a man in form. 101 of 50 balls earlier in the week. An important man coming in for the Craftmasters.
Yeah, well, the Craftmasters, they bat very deep. As you mentioned, Junior Teapots Henry is coming off a century. He'll be looking to make an impact in this game in front of his Choiseul fans, Craftmasters fans, who are slowly but quickly coming into this ground.
Teapots Henry to face his first delivery. Fannis moving into him, short, bouncing down the leg side, wide call. So getting maybe carried away there by the bounce, and much too short, well down the leg side, and so wide call. 5 for 1 it is.
Quick delivery there by Fannis, but Junior Henry comfortably underneath it. He's a player who excites at times, and he'll be looking to put a good show on here for the Craftmasters on his home ground. I would imagine he haven't played here for a little while. He plays his trade in Antigua.
Fannis moves into Henry. Henry hits it hard into the ground. Doesn't cue it at all well. It goes bouncing out to mid-off. And ball being picked up by Cyril to complete the over. I make it, yes. Just a wide coming off of it in terms of runs. So a good performance from Beyond Fannis. He's picked up the wicket of Livingston. So after 2, the Craftmasters, the Choiseul Credit Union Craftmasters, they have decided to bat, and they are 5 for 1.
So excellent start here by the Sail Gros Islet Knights. We saw the introduction of spin in the first over. Lee John, he bowled a very tight over didn't concede many. I think only the single boundary. And Bijan Fanis, he was able to pick up the wicket of David Livingston in the second over. So the Craftmasters, they are only 5 for 1. Very sedate start. We have Jason Simon, he's on 4. And Junior Henry, he's new to the wicket, he's on 0. And the two of them would really want a good partnership to make some inroads into the power play for the Craftmasters.
Lee John to start his second over, the third of the innings. And he's going to bowl to Simon. Simon is 4 from 6. John to Simon. Simon is looking to swing that away. And the appeal going up, not out, says umpire Cooper. That ball goes into the boundary at third man for 4-leg buys. And a boundary there to the Craftmasters. Simon playing across the line. Lee John almost running away in celebration, but not getting the decision. 4 to the total, goes to 9. 9 for 1. And very dangerous here, playing across the line, so Simon needs to be careful.
Well, he'd be familiar with the conditions here. Jason Simon, he's been playing all his cricket at the Fargue playing field. For fortuitous runs here for the Craftmasters, they'll be happy with that. They move on to 9 for 1.
John walks first and then moves in to Simon. Simon gets one that is bouncing, goes back, turns it for a single. And nice work there by Simon to get a single, taking him to 5. 10 for 1. Ball being picked up by Jones coming in from square leg as Henry comes into strike. So
Junior Henry, he marks his guard and he's going to face the first delivery from the southern end.
Long on and mid wicket, the 2 out. As he's outside the off stump. And into the gloves of the keeper. John again to Henry. Henry looking to swing across the line. It's outside the off stump, struck on the pad. And there's no run. So John again to Henry. Henry pulls out towards the onside. Just the 1. Ball hitting the stumps. Ricochet will allow them to take another 1. A return from Tariq Edward. Direct hit at the non-striker stumps, allowing Henry to come back for the second. So he gets off the mark. 12 for 1. This is over number 3. John moves in to Henry. Henry back, cutting it, but finds Melius at point. There's no run. End of the over. A good one from John. Good economy overall. 2 overs just for 7 as it's 12 for 1.
So excellent start here by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. They have restricted the Craftmasters to only 12 runs in the first 3 overs. And the pitch, well, I can fair to say we won't be seeing anything over 200 tonight. It looks like a wicket for some real batsmanship. And Jason Simon and Junior Henry, both of them are capable of that type of innings the Craftmasters require. And I get a sense that they're assessing the conditions and they're looking to see what a good score would be. However, they must remember that we're still in the power play, and it's always important to take advantage of the only 2 fielders being out on the boundary.
And these 2 are at deep square leg and deep point. Beyond Fanis will start the 4th over, his second. Short and turned away to the backward square leg fielder, the burly Figure of Goodman is there, and there's no run. So short into the pitch, and not having the pace. Simon having to wait for that.
Yeah, we saw Jason Simon pulling quite a few deliveries at the Francis Babalastic Stadium out of the ground for 6, but here, the Lafargue playing field, not much pace on that delivery, and he could only just swivel it to the man at short fine leg.
Change, deep mid-wicket posted. Man at point comes into the circle. Fanis to Simon. Simon pulls out towards the deep square leg. Gerson. No, that's not Gerson. That's Lee John, who is getting the return in. One to Simon. He goes to 5. And the total, it should be 6. 6. The total 13 for 1.
Yes, it brings Junior Henry on to strike. Fanis is back of a wicket. Short deliveries not bringing anything up to the batters to go for the line.
Fanis moves in to Henry. Henry pulls out towards the backward square like a long run for the fielder. He'll cut it off. John. It's the return into Douglas. As Henry having to wait a long time for that to get to him. Getting the single down to backward square leg. His third run, taking the total to 14 for 1. Craftmasters going at just 4 per over. So not really setting Lafargue playing field alight in the power play. Has a lot to do with the conditions. Fanis to Simon. Simon pulls out towards, could be, no, that's away from the fielder. One bounce ahead of him. And so a boundary to Simon, short, and getting good hold of it on this occasion. And playing it away to the right of the backward square leg fielder. And into the boundary for 4. So first convincing boundary off the bat. 18 now to the total as Simon going to double figures.
This time Jason Simon, I think, setting himself a bit early, realizing the length that Fanis was bowling and getting a good connection on this one, finding the gap for his first boundary.
Fanis from the north to Simon. Simon hits it hard into the ground. It's a short delivery outside the off stump. A flat bat slap and not getting hold of it. So a dot ball is recorded. So it stays 18 for 1. One delivery left in over number 4. As the noise level is rising all the time among the Orange Army, the fans of the Craftmasters. They're coming in. Fanis, short, hooked away, all the way, 6. Short, and he got inside of it and hitting it over the head of the backward square leg fielder and going all the way for the first maximum of the innings. It has come at the end of the 4th over. Simon goes to 16 and the total 24 for 1.
Yeah, Jason Simon, a player who's normally very strong square of the wicket on the offside and on the offside and on the onside, and this time he just waited on this one and there was no protection on the deep long leg boundary and comfortably picking up his first maximum. So the Craftmasters, they moved on to 24. They're going out to run a ball and they would want to take advantage of the final 2 overs of the power play, maybe get to somewhere around 40 to 45 and maybe put the team in a good position.
John, the start over number 5. Moves into Henry. Henry hoiks that out towards the mid-wicket boundary for 4. Bisecting the long on and the fielder on the cow corner boundary. And pushing things along for the Craftmasters. 2 boundaries in as many balls as Henry goes to 7 and the total 28 for 1.
Well, he's going to play his shots, Junior Henry, that's for sure. And he found a gap between the long one and the mid-wicket fielder, and he picked up his first boundary.
John to Henry. Henry hits that. That's gone for 4. This time on the offside, away from the deep mid-off fielder. And successive boundaries. Well, we have had 3 boundaries in the last 3 balls. The Choiseul Credit Union Craft Masters, they're really pushing things along. As the total goes to 32 for 1. Henry going to 11.
So maybe getting a measure of the wicket here, Junior Henry. This time he goes through the offside. And I always have this feeling when I see a bowler in the power way bowling a third over. And I always have a feeling that it's going to go for plenty.
Yes, because he had bowled 2 decent overs. I think it was 2 for 7. And given a third, and now being taken apart somewhat. Boundaries of the first 2 deliveries. He comes short, hoiked away for 4. That was well placed because both fielders at long on and mid wicket were like frozen, looking at each other so well that it bisected them. Successive boundaries off of this over the 5th of the innings, and Henry pushing on to 15. And it's 36 for 4. We have had 4 boundaries in the last 4 balls.
Yeah, incredible striking here by the Craft Masters after a very slow start. And this Legion over, it has started with 3 consecutive boundaries. And we see a little consultation there between the keeper and the bowler. And the Craft Masters definitely, probably they have got a measure of the wicket and they're looking to capitalize on the final few deliveries of the power play.
We are midway in the 5th over. It's an expensive one. Can Lee John pull things back for the Sale Gros Islet Knights? Maybe the Craft Masters are beginning to get a measure of him. And the pitch. He comes in to Henry. Henry hoiks that. That's gone big. That's gone towards square leg all the way. We'll get confirmation. No, just inside. So Henry picking that up and going safely in an area where there was no coverage on the boundary, clearing the inner ring. The man is inside the circle at square leg. And Henry with his 4th consecutive boundary in the over. Rushing now to 19. It's 40 for 1. John moving in to Henry. Henry back in defense. Plays it up to forward square. Jones is coming from square leg. Fires the return in. Can't stop the single. Henry going to 20, 41 for 1. The tempo being picked up by the Craft Masters. John will now bowl to Simon. Simon back, chops it away. No run there. As it goes to Fannis, who's coming from backward point. End of the over. A productive one for the Craft Masters. Some, the 17 coming from it. And at the end of it, the 5th of the innings, the Craft Masters batting first. They are 41 for 1.
Yeah, so clear intent there by Junior Henry. Like I indicated, he will play his shots and he will try to take advantage of the power play. And we could see from the graphic before us, the Craft Masters, they've been slowly building. And the 5th over, he led 17 runs, the biggest of the innings so far. And they would want to continue that. They're 41 after 5 overs, and we've seen in the SPL maybe something around 50 to 60 would be a very good score in the power play.
So Fannis takes a break, and we're going to have more spin. Tariq Edward being called in for the final over of the power play. The Craft Masters have been pushed the rate to 8.2. Edward to Henry, full toss, hit down the ground to the mid outfielder on the bounce. That's Cyril. And they take 1. 42 for 1. As Henry going to 21. Edward will now bowl to Simon. Delivery that's hit down the ground. Could be a catch. Yes, taken. Good catch by Jadel Cyril. It was hit powerfully at him and took that two-handed up to the face. So a shot that was played in the air, but the tall figure of Jadel Cyril had it covered. So the end of Simon caught Cyril, bowl Edward, and success number 2 for the Sale Gros Islet Knights as Jason Simon departs.
Yes, Jason Simon looking for or looking to take advantage of the power play. He didn't get the elevation that he wanted, and a fairly comfortable catch there by Cyril. So Tariq Edward making immediate impact into this game. Jason Simon is gone for 16. He had a good start. He's promised so much in the tournament so far, Jason Simon, but hasn't really kicked on to a very big score. The Craftmasters, they have lost their second in the power play.
As the new batter, number 2 James, Trevon James comes out, and he's gonna join Junior Henry, who was pushed on nicely, particularly in the last over, and they would want to continue to take advantage of the power play. This is the 6th over, and James would need to push things along.
Yeah, Trevon James, he's played well in the SPL so far, the overseas player for the Craftmasters. Well, one of them, we saw Livingston earlier on. He's up to Tariq Edward.
Edward to James, outside the off stump, chops away, finds the gap, will go close to the boundary. Can Jones pull that back? He does a bit of football, but is not successful. I don't think he pulled that back, no. Umpire Napoleon confirming that. So nicely put away by James. It was short and wide, and he chopped it away. Gave a long run to Jones, missed it initially, and then missing the bit of football and crashing into the portable toilet. A hit out of the park, a poor delivery, hoiked away by James, who was really come off the blocks quite quickly indeed. A really loose one from Tariq Edward, put away for 6 to bring up the 50 for the Craftmasters. 52 for 2, and James with a delightful start, 4-6.
Well, Trevon James is off to a flying start. He was given one short and wide outside the off stump, and he put it away, and then a lollipop really on the line of the leg stump, and he was able to dispatch it over the deep square leg region, and he's 10 off 2 balls as umpire John Maffrey makes his way out to the middle again, and that might be a familiar sight as we move on throughout this encounter. The Craftmasters, they've lost 2 wickets in the power play. Jason Simon, he went for 16 in the previous over. David Livingston, his first real failure of the tournament, he went for naught. Cotton Bowl, Dijon Fannis, and Junior Henry and Trevon James, they are here to rebuild for the Craftmasters.
Still to come, Smith, Simon, Edwards, Bess, James, Thomas, and Williams. As back goes James, or really on the crease, pushing it up into the offside. And there's no runs, so it stays 52 for 2. Edward to James. James playing and missing outside the off stump. The appeal being ignored by umpire Napoleon, who walks away at the end of it. The 6th over, end of the power play. A wicket and 11 runs from the over. It's 52 for 2 with James on 10 and Henry on 21.
Yeah, so we saw a very exciting power play in match number 17 of the SPL 2026. A very slow start there by the Craftmasters. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they had a tight bowling. However, the Craftmasters were able to build. I think Junior Henry really in the 5th over, he got the measure of Lee John, inflicting 4 boundaries there and really pushed the scoring of the Craftmasters. They have moved on to 52 for 2. I think they'll be happy with the runs on the board. Maybe a wicket more than they would have expected. However, we have Junior Henry, who's in good form, and Trevon James. He's had very good performances throughout the tournament, and both of these batters will be looking to push on for the Craftmasters and get a good total on the board.
8.67 is the rate that the Craftmasters are moving along at, as we've got a bowling change. As Jones, the leg spinner, being brought in. Melius has posted himself in a solitary slip. as Jones bows and Henry allows it to spin away outside the off stump. Long on, long off, deep mid wicket, deep square leg, deep extra cover. Jones to Henry, flighted. Henry hits that in the air. Could be a catch. No, the fielder allows it to bounce in front of him. Gerson coming from deep extra cover. As Henry there, not cueing that properly. Going from the outer portion of the bat, airborne. Getting himself a single. 22 he is, 53-4-2. As Trevon James marks his guard, driving the bail into the surface, and will wait as Jones will move in to him, and he's setting himself outside the off stump and looking to play across the line, the appeal going up, but no response from umpire Cooper. Maybe because of that he had found himself well outside the off stump, so can't be out. Dot ball to Jones, who comes in again to James. James, full toss, slaps it down the ground. Chico stops it and keeps it down to 1. I think that's the first time Chico has touched the ball. It's a very quiet power play for Chico. In fact, not touching it at all in the power play. 1 taken. Jones to Henry this time. Henry is a big swing of that, or at it. Ball wide of off stump, not making contact. Henry looking to hurt that straight, maybe over long on. Maybe better served in going over long off extra cover. Jones, the leg spinner, moves in to Henry. Henry goes back, it's shorter. He slaps it into the ground. Goodman is at mid-off. He can't score. End of the over. A decent one from Jones, a pretty good one in fact, just the 2 coming from it, so good on Isaiah Jones to start. As we see the color beginning to emerge here on your screen, the Orange Army very much there in support of the Craftmasters, who are 54-2 after 7.
Yeah, excellent over there by Isaiah Jones, the leg spinner, and we saw Trevon James, he moved across his stumps because there was only 3 fielders posted on the leg side, and looking to find a gap behind square on the leg side, but the leg spinner, he kept it very, very tight, very accurate outside the off stump and not allowing much for the Craftmasters.
Start of over number 8, ball them. Oh, player going back. James, well, Fox there, maybe a faster one. Might have been forward, chose to go back. And the leg stump hit by Tariq Edward, who picks up his second. And at the start of over number 8, it is 54-3 with James going bowled by Tariq Edward.
So after a very enterprising start here by Trevon James, he goes bold off the bowling of Tariq Edward. This one just seemed to skid through from Tariq, and James, he was in no position to play that shot. He was outfoxed, and maybe a quicker delivery here by Edward, and he bowled him comprehensively. So the Craftmasters, they lose their third, and this brings the skipper to the wicket, Vince Smith. He walks in proudly and looking to make an impact in this game as we have a look at the replay, and very, very good delivery there by Edward. That one skidded off the wicket and comprehensively bowled him.
Yes, and we see the evidence of the variations from Edward. We had seen previously balls being flighted, but this one definitely being pushed through. Support for both Sale Gros Islet Knights and the Choiseul Credit Union Craftmasters, as the captain Vince Smith comes in. The left-hander is coming at number 5, and Edward will go round the wicket to him. Change in the field. Man being brought inside the circle from square leg. Lee John, he had started on the boundary, will go into a mid-wicket position. So we've got deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, deep extra cover. And Edward moves into Smith. Smith comes forward and plays back to Edward. So Edward 2 for 11. This is his second over. He's moving in to Smith. Smith gets a good one. It is drifting into him and doesn't have the space to drive. Plays it to extra cover, and there's no run. Change in the field. Offside being strengthened. Melius will post himself at a short straight mid-off on the edge of the square. As Edward to Smith. Smith's looking to play across the line. Big appeal. That's heading down the leg side. Despite the excitement from the Sale Gros Islet Knights. And a dot ball. But Smith, 3 dot balls. Not away yet. Pressure building on him, you'd have to think. Edward to him. He goes back and hits it, but straight to extra cover fielder Goodman. No run to Smith. He's taking his time, but this has the makings of a wicket maiden. 1 delivery left. Edward to Smith. Smith plays it away, but can't score. It is a wicket maiden. A tremendous one from Tariq Edward, keeping the pressure on. The 8th over of the innings completed. 54 for 3. The Craftmasters.
Brilliant comeback over here by Tariq Edward. His first over, he went for a boundary and a 6, and after that he picked up a wicket and delivering a wicket maiden. I haven't seen many of these in the tournament so far. And the Craftmasters, as we have a look at the over by over chart, the graphic, they had a very good over in the 5th, but a few quiet overs, and they're only going at 6.75 at the end of the 8th over, as we see the introduction of another slow bowler from the southern end.
Actually, it's still Jones continuing. Ball to Henry. Henry, edge over the slip down to third man. Can the fielder come across? No, he can't. It will go into the boundary. So a big drive from Henry, going over the head of the slip and down to the boundary for 4. Henry pushing to 26 and the total 58 for 3.
Yeah, we have the saying that if you're going to flash hard, and Junior Henry, he went hard at this one, got the outside edge and he beat the slip and the man at short foot man for a boundary.
Jones to Henry. Henry gets a full toss, hoiks it away to the mid-wicket fielder on the bounce. Cyril sending a high return back in as Henry goes to 27, 59 for 3. This is over number 8. The horns, the bugles blowing away, and support there for the Choiseul Credit Union, Choiseul Craftmasters. Vince Smith will come in to strike, the left-hander, with a leg slip in place. Looking to play across the line. Good stop by Melius. Diving away to cut that off. It wasn't a catch, but he saved 1, possibly 2, maybe 4, because it could have run away. Jones again to Smith. Smith back and looking to cut. Appeal going up by the keeper, but nothing from the umpire. Umpire Cooper saying not out. 59 for 3. As Jones, the leg spinner, angular run comes into Smith. Smith goes back but can't score. He's tucked up and plays it to the onside. Jones happy to pick up off his bowling. 3 successive dot balls. Jones looking to Finish with economy. Moving into Smith. Smith back. Pulls for 6. I make it. Yes, over the head of the jumping fielder on the western side of the ground. So Smith easing the pressure there at the end of the over, the 9th of the innings. His first maximum. In fact, he has gotten off the mark. 65 for 3 it is after 9.
Yeah, that delivery from Joe was slightly shorter than the previous deliveries, and Vince Smith, he quickly rocked onto the back foot and he made good connection over the deep mid-wicket boundary. He picks up his first boundary, and the Craftmasters, they'll be happy to move on to 65 for 3. They'll be going at a run rate of 7.22 after 9 overs, and we see the umpires making another ball change. This one clearing the fence, the temporary fence being placed at the lap playing field.
So lots of work for umpire John Mathra, the third umpire. Let's look at the bowling. So John has had 3 overs for 24. Fannis 2 for 13. He's picked up 1. Edward 2 for 11 from his 2. And Isaiah Jones 2 for 13. So decent economy there right through. 7.22. The Craftmasters, they would want to push that even further to double figures. And 9 overs gone, 65. As we were saying, it's not a 200 surface, but it will be interesting to see how much they can put on to challenge the Sale Gros Islet Knights. Start of over number 10. Edward to Henry. Henry turns it away to backward square leg. The fielder comes off the boundary. Henry wants a second. It's not on. Fannis with the bounce return. 66 for 3 as we start over number 10. Henry going to 28 with the single.
Yeah, Junior Henry, he looks in good form. He's had a string of boundaries and just looking to consolidate in this middle period. Lots of spin being utilized by the Sale Gros Islet Knights. Maybe having a good look at conditions and realizing that spin is the best option.
Edward to Smith. Smith chops it away. Straight to the fielder. The return comes in. Oh, that was non-target. He'll get another. As the keeper had to dive for it, didn't pick it up. So it was a tight single to start off with. Fannis from point came in. Fired it in. Awkward take for keeper Douglas. It eluded him. Then they came back for the second. 68 for 3.
Douglas is looked good behind the wicket. Unable to collect this one, but he's been fine so far.
Edward to Smith. Smith goes back. This time straight to Fannis. He's coming in quickly. And there's no run. So you were saying the amount of spin they've used. So this is the 10th over, and we have had only 2 overs of seam. So this is the 8th over of spin. So Lee John, Tariq Edward, and Isaiah Jones. So the Sale Gros Islet Knights reading the surface as one that where the spinners will do well. Edward to Smith. Smith goes back, hits it in the air on the bounce. The return, direct hit missing at the non-strikers, and it's backing up on the onside. Jones coming from the boundary. It was a close call there for Smith, but the fielder not hitting the stumps. One taken, 69 for 3. 2 deliveries left in the 10th.
That one would have been really close. Interesting to see what would happen if that was a direct hit.
Edward to Henry. Henry back, pulls, slaps it on the ground, bouncing away to the long on fielder. And they return on the arm. Back in. Looks like Davin Ford. One more to Henry. He goes to 29. It is 70 for 3.
I don't think any of us would be surprised with what we've seen from Tariq Henry. He's a very consistent off spinner, very wily.
Comes into Smith. Smith gets one that's full. Hoiked away. It will go into the boundary. Keeper giving chase, but just to collect from beyond the boundary. A loose delivery and paddled around by Smith to get himself another boundary. And pushing the total to 74 as we have come to the halfway mark. 3 wickets are down. Smith goes to 13. And as the players get ready for a drinks break, we'll give you the summary and give Alpha a time to reflect on the first half of the innings.
So as we see the commentators curse, I big up Tariq Edward and he goes for a boundary. As we look at the summary, the Craft Masters, they won the toss and they decided to bat. They have moved on to 74 for 3. We have Junior Henry, who's not out on 29. He's looked in good form. Jason Simon, he's promised. He's on 6. He went for 16. Vince Smith, he's on 13, going at a runner ball. Tariq Edward, he's done very well for the Silk Gros Islet Knights. He's picked up 2 wickets for just 20 runs. Bijan Fannis, he picked up a wicket of David Livingston. As the players take a drink, we'll take a drink here from the commentary booth.
In fact, we're going to go to an interview with Chloe.
With the Choiseul Craft Masters mascot and top fan, tell me, are you guys ready for today's match? Of course we are. Gros Islet is going home. Tell me, this year you gave him a mascot. What's that about? So basically, you know, we are always extra in Choiseul. So we take it up a notch. We pick an animal who is probably the king of the jungle. Sorry, the lions. But it also displays our all what the boys have in common. They're courageous when on the field. They don't play. You know, competition-wise. I love that. Now you say it yourself. You had the king of the jungle. Let me see what you could do. Guys,
So we're getting ready to resume after the drinks break. 74 for 3. More spin. Jones moving in to Henry. Henry back, chops it away. Goes through the fielder at backward point, but he has cover on the boundary. And they come back for 2. So Henry going to 31, 76. Now for 3. Jones moving in to Henry. Henry goes back and plays into the offside. Lee John is there. And there's no run. Over number 11. Jones moving in to Henry. Henry back. Hits it hard into the ground. And Jones is stumbling away off his own bowling to prevent them from scoring. Craftmasters going at 7.35. So lots of color at the Fargue playing field. Support for both teams, predominantly for the Craftmasters. Chopped away, banged away off the back foot, out towards the boundary. Can the fielders pull that back? A bit of teamwork. Looks like they're successful. And the return coming in as they take 2 Henry going to 33-78 for 3.
Yeah, much bigger playing surface here at the Fargue playing field from what we've seen at the Francis Babalastic Stadium, and lots of twos being run. Junior Henry, his second of the over, he moves on to 33.
Jones missed his run there, very chippy in the run. Not sure why. We know Jones has a few tricks up his sleeves. Some of the deliveries, he delivers them before he gets into the box. And so maybe he was thinking of doing that type of thing there. He comes in to Smith. Smith goes back and hits it hard into the ground, out towards the sweeper. Gerson is there, and one more to the total. 79 for 3. One delivery left in the 11th over. The left-handed Smith, 13 from as many balls, comes in to strike. Jones moving in, but then pulling out of it. Maybe Smith was not quite ready. Jones would come in again. To Smith. Smith hits that high. That's gone big over long on. That's 6. A big one from Smith. It was in the slot, and he took up the challenge and lifted it nicely. High and handsome over long on for 6. His first maximum. He goes to 19, and the total 85 for 3 at the end of 11.
His second maximum, actually. This one is a little bit over pitched there by Jones, and Vince Smith, he need no further invitation. He was clearly underneath this one, and he cleared the long on boundary by quite some distance. This one cleared the ground, and the houses at the back at the southern end would be in danger. The Craft Masters, they have moved on to 85 for 3 at the end of the 11th over.
And that occasioned another ball change, so umpire John Maffrey been kept quite busy in getting the balls replaced, and you expect that in T20 cricket. Lots of 6s being hit. Edward starts anew over, balls to Henry. Henry is looking to hoik that away. It's into the pad, but no agreement with the appeal from umpire Napoleon. Dot ball recorded. Stays 85 for 3. So over number 12, Henry, 34 from 26. Edward balls to him off the back foot, looking to bang it away. Not making contact. Into the gloves of Goodman. We actually have a change in keeper for the Sale Gros Islet Knights.
Yeah,
so
Chad Goodman, accomplished keeper as well.
Goodman taking the glove at the drinks break. Looking to hoik that away is Henry. It's outside the off stump. And no contact. Crowd taking in the action with refreshments as well. Edward to Henry. Henry hoiks that away down to long on the bounce. The fielder back pedaling and keeping it in play. Looks like Davin Ford. 1 to Henry. He goes to 34. It's 85 for 3. Correction, 86 for 3. Henry on 35.
Tariq Edward into his final over of the spell. He's bowled brilliantly so far. He has figures up 2 for 21. And I think the Craftmasters would be well advised to maybe just see him off.
Edward to Smith. Smith inside edge past the leg stump. Will get a single. Down to backward square leg. Tyrell Chico from short third. Picking that up. Smith getting his 20th run and taking the total to 87 for 3. 1 delivery left in the 12th. The right-handed Henry in strike. Edward to him. Henry goes big. That's gone long. 6 of a long on. In the slot. And a nice flow of the bat from the elegant Henry. a maximum for him as the Craftmasters push into the 90s as the 12th over is completed. So he goes to 41 there, Junior Henry, and it's 93 for 3 after 12.
Just like the previous delivery of the previous over, a little bit over pitched there by Tariq Edward, his final delivery of his spell, and Junior Henry, he didn't miss. He made good connection well over the fielder at long on. Spectators looking for cover there on the bleachers, and Henry, he's on to 41. He's off to a good start, and he'll be looking to push on the score for the Craftmasters. They are 93 for 3.
More spin from the Sale Gros Islet Knights, because the man who has shed the gloves now been brought in to bowl. So Dylan Douglas is going to come in. So the understanding from the Knights is that this is a pitch to bowl spin. As off spin, Douglas bows, smash down the ground. Can the fielder come across? No, he can't. Lee John at the wide long on position just couldn't get that. It was hit a lot straighter, and John to his right couldn't cut it off. A boundary to Smith, taking him to 24, 97 for 3 as we start the 13th over.
Yeah. Powerfully struck there by Vince Smith, a little bit over pitch for his first delivery. Dylan Douglas
round the wicket to Smith. Smith goes back, gets one that is short of length, turning away across him and playing it away to be fielded by the slip fielder Melius. 97 for 3. Douglas to Smith. Smith goes back and hoiks it. Could be a catch to John. Takes it on the long on boundary. And that has Douglas somersaulting in celebration. So the end of Smith caught Lee John off the bowling of Douglas for 24. And in the 13th over, the Craftmasters, they have lost their 4th wicket with their standing captain going.
Yeah, I think Vince Smith would be a little bit disappointed with that dismissal. It was a short delivery. It spun away from him. He looked to go over the leg side boundary. Just didn't get the connection that he needed. Maybe the toe of the bat, and a very good catch there by Lee John moving to his left. He gets rid of him. He goes for 24 of 18 deliveries. He was striking at 133, and he would have really wanted to carry on the batting for the Craftmasters. However, it will be up to Jamian Thomas, who we mentioned earlier on, who's fresh from the Windward Islands under 19 tournament. He comes in at number 6, and he'll be joining Junior Henry, who's on 41 of 40 deliveries.
So Jamian Thomas, who is an opener, but now being asked to bat in the middle order, batting at 6, but he's the sort of player who can get the ball away, very positive, and no doubt he will look to play accordingly. As we see the dismissal of Smith, looking to fetch that from outside the off stump, but finding Lee John. As Thomas gets a faster delivery, goes back and plays away into the offside. There's no run. So success for Douglas in his first over. He's over the wicket to Thomas. Comes into him. Thomas is across his stumps. Plays up to mid-off. Cyril is there. There's no run. So quick stuff here from Dylan to Thomas. He comes in, flighted this time, looking to turn it away. It's heading down the leg side to complete the over. At the end of the 13th, Craftmasters, they're 97 for 4.
Yeah, so successful over here by Dylan Douglas. He picked up the very important wicket of Vince Smith at the long on boundary. The Craftmasters, they are going on at about 7 and over. They've moved on to 97 for 4, and Interesting to see how the conditions play here at the Fargue playing field. Assessments being made. I think that's the stage where the teams would be looking at what a respectable total or what the total they'd be envying for. And I think the Craftmasters, having a look at the conditions, looked at what has happened in the first half of this innings, will be looking at something maybe in the region of 150, 160. I think would be a pass score on it.
The examination by spin continues as Isaiah Jones is being brought back. Henry, a swing and a miss at it. Outside the off stump. The left foot wasn't where it should have been. It was on the onside of things. Needed to push it towards the offside. Jones continuing to Henry. Henry goes back, plays it late. Fielder not picking up is Darrell Chico, and one taken. 98 now for 4. Junior Tibots Henry goes to 42. And Jermaine Maka Thomas comes into strike.
He's not yet off the mark, Jermaine Thomas.
Jones moves into Thomas. Thomas is forward, very careful. Not looking to go explosively yet. Very cautious approach. Maybe the right approach, or maybe some suggested maybe he needs to be a bit more positive. He's not from 4. Jones to him, flight to delivery, drives, lofted down the ground, all the way. 6. Good meaty stroke from Thomas. He was invited to go down the ground. He took up the challenge and played it nicely. Lovely swing of the bat and clearing the man straight at long off. Getting off the mark with a 6, bringing up the 100. 104 for 4 in the 14th over.
Another over pitch delivery being treated to a maximum by the batters. Jimmy and Thomas on this occasion taking full advantage of that opportunity.
Jones to Thomas. Thomas is beaten outside the off stump. The ball's been taken off by Goodman. And what is that? Well, he's walking off. End of Thomas. Not sure what that was. Was that caught behind? Was that stump maybe? We'll have to wait and see. But what we can tell you, it's the end of Jeremy and Thomas. The bails were dislodged, but it's difficult for us to see that. We'll have to look at that on the replay if we have it. But end of Thomas off the bowling of Jones. A case of 6 and out.
Yeah, from all indications, it looks like he has been bowled here. He's been bowled here by Isaiah Jones. Very good comeback delivery, pulling his length back maybe a little bit quicker through the air and off the pitch. Deceiving Thomas here, and he's got him. He's gone after hitting a 6. And the Craftmasters, they've lost their 5th. Half of the batters out. The score is on 104. As we see Choiseul Edward, all-rounder, he walks into the wicket, and he'll be joining Junior Henry, who's really held the innings together so far for the Craftmasters.
So Choiseul Edward coming in and joining Henry. Jones picking up his first wicket. This is his final over. The 14th of the innings. 1 delivery left. He'll bowl to Choiseul Edward. Edward, who bowls left but bats right. And he is going to take strike. Melius just looking to get some protection. He's got the helmet, but he wants the protector.
Yeah, I heard he told his teammate he hasn't had any yet. Probably referring to. And he needs that protection.
Yes. Absolutely. Needs to protect the groin area, because he doesn't only want to produce runs, but he wants to produce offspring. He's very close in, that's why he has protection. Silly point he is. And giving a bit of stick to Choiseul as he's about to face his first delivery. Jones to Edward. Edward forward. And a bit of hesitation, but the fielder coming in from backward point doesn't pick up cleanly. In the end, Edward is able to get off the mark at the end of a productive 14th over. So 105 for 5. Edward is 1. Junior Henry is 42.
The SPL Gros Islet Knights, they continue to pick up wickets and continue to stall the Choiseul Young Craft Masters. Isaiah Jones on that occasion, he picked up another wicket. He has completed his spell. He's picked up 1 wicket for 32 runs of his 4 overs, as we see the crowd, as we expect here at the Fargue playing field. It is building, and we expect maybe by 10 o'clock we'll have a blockbuster crowd here, and then we're looking to see a victory here for the Craft Masters. But we did a good first inning score in order to achieve that.
So far it's 105 from 14. Douglas starts, bowls to Edward. Edwards clips it away to the mid-wicket fielder, who doesn't pick up cleanly, but moved well, and so put a little bit of doubt in their minds. They decided against the single. 105 for 5. We are starting the 15th over. Douglas moving in over the wicket to Edward. Edward is struck on the pad. I think there's an inside edge there as they go quickly for the single. Confirmation there from umpire Cooper. No signal. So a second run for Edward as it goes to 106 for 5.
Very good call there by umpire Roylin Cooper, identifying that inside edge. Another run to Choiseul Edward.
Henry in strike. Dylan Douglas to him. Full toss, hit down the ground on the bounce to the long off. Lee John doing the fielding. Henry disappointed with what he did with that. Only a single, taking him to 43, 107 for 5. Choiseul Edward back into strike. Douglas into him. Driven into the offside. Sweeper comes off the boundary. Edward looking for the second. It's not on. As Simeon Gerson with the throw. In fact, Gerson is yet another spinner that can come into the bowling for the Knights. He has not been used so far. Douglas to Henry. Henry looking to work it away. Struck on the pad. And backwards square leg is the area inside the circle where Goodman from the stumps, behind the stumps, picks up. Stays 108 for 5. 1 delivery left in the 15th. Douglas moves in to Henry. Henry is getting one that turns into him. Waits for it and then plays it up to long on for a single. End of the 15th. 108 for 5.
A very good second over here by Dylan Douglas, over which only went for 4 runs. The Craft Masters, during the consolidation part of the innings, they are 109 for 5. As they have a look at the summary, they're going at 7.27 runs per over. Junior Henry, he's still there. He came in at number 3. He's on 44 and going at a very good strike rate considering the conditions. As the SPL Gros Islet Knights, they continue to apply the pressure. Not many boundary deliveries being offered to the Craft Masters, and a lot of spin being utilized. We have not seen the introduction of Tyrell Chico. We have not seen the introduction of any other medium or fast bowlers, as we see another spinner being introduced from the northern end.
Yes, in fact it's Simeon Gerson. So we have not seen Tyrell Chico, neither Jean-Del Cyril, neither Darvin Ford. So it's been all spin except 2 overs from Beyond Fanis. So the wrist spin of Simeon Gerson We'll move into Chanel Edward. In fact, it's Henry that's in strike. Hit off the back foot to the extra cover fielder. And there's 109, 110. 110 it is. As Henry has gone to 45 with the single. Edward in strike. Gerson, balls delivered, that's hoiked away. That's gone for 6 over mid-wicket. Short, and Edward, a big, strong young man, hoiking that away over the mid-wicket boundary. And a meaty stroke from Edward, taking him to 9, and the total 116 for 5. A drag down from the left armour.
Yeah, well, we know he packs a punch on Edward, and that one was just a little bit too short here by Gerson, allowing him the room and the reach using his long arms, his long levers, and he comfortably clears the man at long on for his first maximum.
Yes, it was short. In fact, it was also noticeable that Gerson, don't think he has tried to spin anything yet. I think the previous delivery was certainly a seam up delivery, and I think he may have also gone seam up that last one, but it was smashed out of the park. In fact, it's been lost, and so umpire John Mathre, the third umpire, going out with the box of balls. Actually, they've retrieved the ball, but it seemed that it has sustained some damage on maybe a tree trunk or something. But so powerful was the hit from Edward, so they're looking to have another ball being used.
Yeah, not many overs remaining in the innings for the Craftmasters. 4 after this one. Junior Henry, he's set, he's on 45. Chanel Edward, a powerful striker. They'll be looking to really get a move on. Try to get as many as possible for the Craftmasters. Something for the bowlers to defend.
And what do you think that total would be?
Looking at the conditions so far, I think anything in the region of 160, maybe par on this wicket. But if they could get to 170, I think they would be even happier with that. Chanel Edward, Junior Henry, they could really push that score along.
We'll have to wait and see. They need to accelerate from here to get there. We continue. Gerson, faster delivery, a swing, a miss outside the off stump. And not taken cleanly by Goodman. So Gerson, who's usually back of the arm stuff, has been bowling left arm orthodox so far. Not having the confidence to really spin it. Pushed through, beaten outside the off stump. Good one. Away from the right-hander. And coming back with 2 dot balls after the maximum. And maybe happier with the control that he gets from his fingers.
Definitely, and lots of grip and turn there. And once it's on a good length, the batters will find it difficult to score.
Simeon Gerson moving into Edward. Edward back, hits that. That's gone big. That's gone in the air. Over 6 over the field that long on. Didn't quite get hold of it, but got enough. It went high, and it was long enough, beating the man that looks like Ford on the boundary. And so the second maximum of the over as Edward goes to 15. It's 122 for 5.
Doesn't really need to get hold of it, Edward. Again, another short delivery, and he dispatches it over long on for 6.
Gerson to Edward. Edward swings it away through square leg. The fielder coming from deep mid wicket. Fannis. They will take 2 as he picks up and sends the bounce return to Goodman. End of the over. A productive one for the Craftmasters. 15 coming from it. And at the end of 16, they are going at 7.75. They are 124 for 5.
Choiseul Young Craftmasters 124 after 16 overs. We're into the final phase of the innings, and will be looking to push on the score. Sean Edward, he's hit two maximums. Junior Henry, he's well set on 45. And these two would want to accumulate a very good partnership and get a significant score on for the Craftmasters. As Dylan Douglas, he continues, he's bowled 2 overs from the southern end. And he'll be continuing to Junior Henry.
Comes in short, chopped away into the offside. Ford is there. And there's no run. So 124. So 3 overs after this one. Douglas to Henry. Henry looking to swing that away. Doesn't cue it properly. It will be just a single to Jones at the square leg boundary. So a miss hit there from Henry. He will push closer to his half century. He's 47. He's 46. 125. Douglas will bowl to Edward. Edward short. Turns it away. That will go for 4. Poor delivery. Short, wide, down the leg side. And Edward turning and swiveling nicely. Hitting it well away from any fielder. And away for 4. Boundary to him. Edward scoring at over 200. He has gone to 21. 129 for 5.
Attempted quick delivery there by Dylan Douglas. Didn't get the line right, and Edward taking full advantage of this one down the leg side.
Douglas to Edward. Edward back. Quick single. They'll get it. That was pushed into the offside. Jodel Cyril couldn't stop it. Single taken. The scoreboard kept moving. 6 runs from 4 deliveries so far in the over. 130 for 5. Henry 4 away from a 50. Waiting as the crowd continues to build. The noise level also going up. Douglas to Henry. Henry smashes it out to mid wicket. Can the fielder come across? Yes, he does. Chico with a very acrobatic pickup. And throw, keeping it away from the boundary. 1 to Henry. 47 is 131 for 5. 1 delivery left in the 17th.
Brilliant save there by Tyrell Chico on the boundary. Very acrobatic throwing with his legs in the air, restricting the batters to only 1.
Douglas to Edward. Edward plays it away but finds the fielder at short third. Beyond Fanis is there. And they take 1. So good turning of strike. End of the over. 17 completed. 132 for 5. So 3 overs left. And the question is, can they get to 160, 170?
Very interesting to see the bowling resources of the SPL Gros Islet Knights and see what bowlers they will utilize in the final overs of these innings. As we indicated, only Bijan Fan is the only seamer bowler who has bowled so far in the innings, and the rest of the bowlers have been spin. We've seen a lot of grip and turn. And as Captain Melius, he's in the middle. Small conference going on between he and a few of his senior players. The Craftmasters 132 for 5. Only 3 overs remaining. Like I indicated, a score of maybe 160, 170 would be par on this wicket. They would be happy if they got there. As Gerson, I believe, he'll be continuing from the northern end.
Over number 18, he'll bowl to Edward. Edward 23 from 12. Smashes it down the ground for 6. In the slot. And really enjoying that is Chanel Edward. Hitting it away. Nice and long. Clearing the field that long off. Another maximum from the bat of Chanel Edward. Taking the total to 138 as he goes quickly to 29. And going quite nicely along indeed.
It's not been an easy wicket to bat on, but what we've realized, whenever the ball has been pitched up the batters can really get underneath it and really capitalize and get those maximums. Choiseul Edward, he's hit 3 and he's on 29 looking to push on for the Craft Masters.
So Gerson under pressure. Comes into Edward. Edward outside the off stump hits that. That's gone for 6 again. Short and wide. And Choiseul Edward going back and smashing it over wide long off on this occasion, going a lot further and clearing the crowd who's gathering on the edge of the boundary. So Choiseul Edward, really an explosion here from him. He has gone quickly to 35 with his 4th maximum. And Simeon Gerson, well, he's under pressure. There was a question mark as to whether they should have gone back to him after the first over. They chose to do so. Well, and this one has started badly. 6 and 6 from the first 2 deliveries.
Back-to-back 6s here by Choiseul Edward. It was short this time and it didn't really matter.
Short, top edge down to third man and caught. So a swing of the bat from Edward, miscuing and the ball peeling off the edge and finding the tall figure of Tyrell Chico on the edge of the circle at short third man and accounting for the loss of Choiseul Edward. An entertaining knock from him, but it has come to an end as Gerson gets his man. As Choiseul Edward goes away, caught Chico, ball Gerson for a rapid 35 from 15, and the Gros Islet Knights, as they are gathered in a huddle, would be happy to see the back of Choiseul Edward.
Definitely, but he's made some significant impact in the Choiseul Craft Masters innings, really pushing the score along, and very interesting to see how his game has developed over the years. Choiseul Edward, primarily a bowler, but it looks at this season his batting, or even in previous seasons, his batting has really come along, showing that real power with the bat. And I'm really happy to see that for him. I'm happy for him moving more into that all-rounder category. The still Gros Islet Knights would be happy to see the back of him as Bronte Bessie walks into the middle. Coming at number 8, another powerful striker. And he'll be looking to get a couple away and help the Craft Masters to a very formidable first inning score.
Midway in the 18th over, Bronte Bess gets an opportunity to contribute with the bat for the Craft Masters. Success for Simeon Gerson, as the left-handed Bess will take his first ball. Gerson over the wicket to him. He smashes it down the ground, will fall safely. The long on fielder comes in. Douglas off the mark is Bess. 145 for 6. Henry 47 from 39 comes in to strike. As there's a ring of fielders at the point. Delivery that is swung away inside portion of the bat. Deep square leg fielder comes off the boundary. And an awkward return almost along the ground to keeper Goodman. 1 to Henry. 48. 145 for 6. And if anything, Henry has not really accelerated, has struggled somewhat to come to terms with the surface in terms of the bounce and the pace or lack thereof in it. And so it has been a bit of a struggle for him, but he's still there as Bess will be in strike. Short, hoiked away, that's gone in the air. Is it long enough? Two fielders are converging and put down on the edge of the circle. That's Dylan Douglas. Should have caught that. And Bess being put down, coming back for the second at the end of the 18th. So unfortunate there. Simeon Gerson could have picked up his second wicket. 2 taken. Bess going to 3. 148 for 6 at the end of 18.
A lot happening in that 18th over, Claudius. He started with 2 maximums from Choiseul Edward, and then he lost his wicket to Simeon Gerson. And Bronte Bess coming in, looking to clear the cow corner region. Doesn't quite get hold of it, and unfortunately Dylan Douglas, missing that opportunity for the SPL Grizzly Knights, puts this one down and gives an opportunity to Bronte Bess. He's on 3. As you mentioned, Junior Henry, after that flurry of boundaries early in the power play, he hasn't really gotten hold of the conditions, or the bowlers haven't really scored many boundaries. I can't recall any. And he looks a bit frustrated himself as we have a look at that replay. Douglas, he got under it, was settled, and unable to take it.
Maybe concerned about the road. Chopped away, smashed away, out towards the deep extra cover boundary, and will go into it. And will bring up the 50 for Junior Teapots Henry. So he goes to 52 with the boundary. Short and put away by Henry. And bringing up the 150 as well. 152 now for 6 as we start the 19th.
So as I mentioned, Junior Henry not hitting the boundary. He proves me wrong. He hits one over the point region. And he picks up a 4, picks up a 50 to follow up his 100 in the previous game. The Craftmasters, they go past 152 and they're still in the 19th. So my score of 160, 170, they may surpass that. And maybe 180 is on the cards if these 2 players stay in.
Douglas continues to Henry. Henry back. Smashes it into the offside. Good stop by Melius. Getting the body in behind it and keeping it in front of him. No run. Douglas continues to Henry. Henry looking to scoop. Beats the keeper, but will be just a single. I'm not sure it came off the pad. In fact, missed it completely. Umpire Cooper confirming that. So the scoop not coming off there for Henry. But the total goes up by 153 for 6.
Yeah, one of his favorite shots, Junior Henry. As you have a look at the replay, the seam of delivery, or that's of the previous delivery actually. But Henry was looking for that scoop. He didn't make any contact and was lucky. This one missed his thumbs. He survives. He's on 52. Only 9 deliveries left in the first innings.
Round the wicket to Best. Douglas bowls a faster delivery. And, well, I think that has hit the keeper on the knee. He's down. Dead ball called. I think he's recovered. Yeah, but with a bit of pain there, John Goodman.
Yeah,
recovering.
That one seems to have missed his pads and collided into his kneecap.
Dot ball. We continue on 56, 3 for 6. That's slow delivery. Tugged out to deep mid wicket. Gerson is there. Just a single. So one taken, 154 for 6. 2 deliveries are left in the 19th. The Craftmasters going at 8.25. Still 8 deliveries left in the innings. Can they push it towards 170, 180? Douglas to Henry. Henry smashes it into the offside. Sweeper coming across. Gerson gets the body in behind it. Keeps it down to 1. And Henry completing the over with the single. So end of the 19th. Henry on the 53. End of the 19th. So 1 over left. And an opportunity for the Craftmasters to go real big to capitalize on anything that is available.
Yeah, the Craftmasters with Junior Henry on 53 and Bronte Bess on 4. They have 6 deliveries left in the first innings, having decided to bat. The final over will be bowled by another slow bowler. Looks like Lee John, if I could confirm with Claudia, like Lee John, 2 job ends for him. He'll be coming from the northern end and he'll be bowling to Junior Henry. 155, they would want to capitalize, maybe get to 170. I think 170 would be the max psychologically they would be looking for the Craftmasters.
So Lee John to come up for his final over. 3, 1 for 24 his figures. And in fact not for 24. So he has to, he's gonna come in for the final over. He'll bowl to Henry. John to Henry. Henry gets one that's full in the block hole. Smashes it down to the fielder at long off for a single. So good start for John in the over. Henry not able to get under it and smash it away over the boundary. 156 for 6. Bronte Bess will be looking to really bludgeon the ball away to the boundary. We'll be looking for anything and maybe looking to create opportunities that are even not there. What can he do with the remainder of the over? John goes round the wicket to him. John to Bess. Bess is looking to swing across the line, missing. And they'll take a run as it is picked up by Cyril at short third. Leg by, says umpire Napoleon. And Lee John getting away so far in the final over. Just the 1 run first up and then a leg by. Henry in strike. John moves into Henry. Henry smashes it down to the long on fielder. Gets the body in behind it. Davin Ford keeps it down to 1. Good so far from John. He's getting the better of the batters. Halfway through the final over. 158 for 6. Best comes back into strike.
Very good start to the final over here by Lee John, only conceding 3 halfway through.
John to Best, faster delivery. Best lets it go, gets the wide. By Napoleon saying 2 wide of off stump. 1 more to the total. 159 for 6. John again to Best, who walks across. Lofts that. That's gone big. That's gone high. That's gone long. Over long on 6. In the slot this time. And Best with an effortless flow of the bat, a swing of the bat. Found it in his area. Nice flow of the bat. Nice follow through. And getting maximum for it. 165 for 6. Best goes to double figures.
Once it's over pitch here, Claudius, it's gonna go. And the batters, they are waiting on that. They're sweating on it. And Bronte Bess, he is a good striker, especially of slow bowling. And Lee John just a bit too full and paying the price. He's bowled well. And none for 33. And he's been looking to close out this over as the ball has been retrieved, has it?
Looks so.
Looks so.
Yes, it's come back.
It's come back from the piton end, I like to call it. If in our day games, you'll see the pitons in the background. Very beautiful, beautiful ground, the Lafak playing field.
2 deliveries left in the final over. John comes into Best, short. Best hoiks it away along the ground, out to mid wicket. They'll be looking for the second. There's a misfield, will allow it as a good low return comes in from Jones, but just the fumble on the boundary allowing the batters to come back for 2. Best goes to 12. 167 for 6. 1 delivery left in the innings. Can Best hoik it away for a maximum? Lee John would want to be defensive with this delivery. He comes into Best. Best hits that, doesn't get hold of it. Could be caught. Oh, doesn't pick up and overruns the ball. Will allow probably 2. They've come back for it. And beyond fairness, misjudging that as the innings comes to an end. 169 for 6. So the target will be 170. Decent effort by the Craftmasters as they won the toss and elected to bat on what looked to be a dry surface. And in the end, they got to that total of 169 for 6, with Henry remaining not out on 55 from 46. Bronte Best got 14. The thoughts of Alpha Eugene for the first half of the game.
Yes, I think the Craftmasters will be happy with the score. of 169. The wicket at the Fargue playing field is not conducive to batting. A bit of grip, a bit of turn, a bit of spin here, as indicated from the Gros Islet Knights. Only 2 overs of seam being utilized, and we've seen a lot of runs at the Francis Baba Elastic Stadium, but I think here on the Fargue playing field, 170, the Gros Islet Knights would have to bat really well. A much bigger outfield, a much tougher surface, and they'd have to do really good to overhaul this target.
Okay, that's the position at the innings break. 170 the target, and so Gros Islet Knights, they need to score at 8.5 if they are going to get to that target. Let's take a break between the innings, and then we'll be back for the chase in about 10 minutes time.
In my bag already. That has padlock on it. I need you all to be louder than that. I came down here for a fete. I came here for a party. Choiseul, I want you to make some noise right now. Choiseul, make some noise! Yes, sir! Hello? All right, you want to tell them make some noise? There we go. Again, people, remember, right now, you need to come get your ticket. We also have the ticket for jazz right here. Do not sleep. Don't go and beg for freeness. Come and buy your ticket. You all afraid to say it? You all know they're there. They passed by the table 10 times already watching you all in eye. They cannot hold me now. Oh, Hey, don't forget later, after party done, we have the after party, SPL after party. We're going to PK Pit Stop. Since the day I tell you, you'll give me directions for that, please. Feeling like he is something, he is Iron Man. Well, look at next man coming to replace the bottom part when you get the call. And you will not jump. Look like Gros Islet to come and take over here. Choiseul telling them no. Never. Give energy, give energy. Somebody come, the first thing they're telling me, no plum for me. How? As if that's going to send me back at my home.
And we're back here at the Lafargue playing field for the reply from the SPL Gros Islet Knights, the Choiseul Credit Union Craft Masters. They have scored 169, having been put into bat, having lost the toss. And the Gros Islet Knights, they are in chase of 170 for victory. As we see the openers, Jad Goodman and Kimani Melius, they have made their way out into the middle. This has not been a traditional T20 wicket. The Craft Masters, I think they have played very well to get to 169. We've seen a lot of spin, a lot of grip from the slow bowlers. Only 2 overs of seam used by the Gros Islet Knights. The Craft Masters may want to replicate that. As we see Choiseul Edward, he marks his guard as the atmosphere has built up tremendously as the Lafargue playing field as expected. The stands to my right is almost filled to capacity as we see lots of fans on the boundary line. As Jadmut Goodman looks to take first strike, and Captain Vince Smith makes sure that all his fielders are in the right position. We will have a slip. Trevon James, he moves into that position. Choiseul Edward will be coming left arm over the wicket. And as we get ready, his deep fielders are at third man and deep point. And we're off with the second innings. Goodman drives it, but straight to Alvina Simon as short cover. Excitement for the crowd, but I think this one, it's a bit of a crowd catch straight into the wicket. So 170, the SPL Gros Islet Knights, they would need to go at 8.5 per over. They do have the batting capabilities. Chad Goodman, he hasn't really set the stage alight as he's up to Edward. This time he's shot, and this time he pulls it, and he's found a gap. There's no one at the square leg region, and it trickles into the boundary. So the SPL Gros Islet Knights, they're off the mark. 4 without loss. A bit shot there by Choiseul Edward, and Goodman, he just came across and swiveled it into the vacant square leg region. He picks up his boundary. As we see a shift in the field, the man at mid wicket, he moves to square leg. Edward, this time it's wide outside the off stump and signal wide. So hasn't really gotten his line right here, Choiseul Edward. One down the leg side and one wide of the off stump. He had a very good performance with the bat, getting 35 off 13 deliveries. He'd want to replicate the same with his ball, and this time better line on the line of the off stump, and Goodman just pushes that one into the offside. There is no run. As we see the beautiful Lafargue playing field really coming to light as the St. Lucia Premier League T20 continues. Another intriguing encounter here. Choiseul Edward continues to Goodman, who flashes, and this one, Josan James diving forward, and looks like he got to it, but he just couldn't hold on. It was a wide delivery again by Choiseul Edward. Chad Goodman going for the drive, got a thick outside edge. Josan James coming off the third man boundary, making good ground. moving forward, unable to hold on to that. And Craftmasters, they have let one go, a let off for Jad Goodman. He's on 5 and brings Kimani Melius into strike for his first delivery. A man at third man, and at deep square leg looks like Jimmy and Thomas. The men out on the boundary. We're in the power play. Edward to Melius, who just lets this one go outside the line of the off stump. Edward into his final delivery of the first over. It's gone for 6 as opposed to Melius. This one is shot. Melius looks to pull. It's shot to the man at mid off. They attempt a run, but good feeling there by looks like Junior Henry at the mid on position. So no run off that final delivery. At the end of the first, the Sale Gros Islet Knights in chase of 170. They are 6 without loss, with openers Kimani Melius, he's on naught, and Jad Goodman, after hitting his first boundary, he's on 5. Josan James, youngster, taking up his mark from the southern end. Right arm, medium pace bowler. He's done very well in the tournament so far. He'll be coming around the wicket and he'll be bowling to Jad Goodman. He was responsible for that drop catch at the third man region of the previous over, and he'd be really looking to make amends for that. Fielders out for him are at deep third man and deep cover. And tucks him up on the leg side. Goodman able to just push it into the leg side, and they come easily for a single, so the score moves on to 7. Josan James, a very good line and length bowler. He's done well for the Craftmasters, coming into their second game against the City Blasters, and most recently against the South Castries Lions. Melius on strike, yet to get off the mark. And this one is shot, and Melius pumps it well over the log of boundary. Fantastic stroke here by Kimani Melius, almost dismissive from the elegant right-hander. Hits Josan James off a length. First maximum of the innings. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they move on to 13. And Melius on to 6. As umpire John Maffrey continues his exercise for the night. Secures a replacement ball for James. He would want to change his length to Melius, as there is a change in the field. Man being placed at the deep mid-wicket boundary. James again, short and wide, and signal wide by the umpire. One more to the total. James. We're looking to maybe correct his length and length. Balls to Melius, and it's wide again. So not a very good start here by Josan James. Trying to keep it wide of the off stump. And he's getting a few words here by the experience of Jason Simon and maybe some encouragement as he walks back to his mark. And if you're just joining us, the Craft Masters, they were inserted in. They got to 169 for 6. This time it's full and Melius attempts a drive and it just rolls out to the man at mid-on. Bronte Best collects. They come through for a single. Like I was alluding to the previous delivery, the Craftmasters, they got to 169 for 6. Junior Henry registering his second half century of the tournament as a man goes out to the deep square leg boundary. Well, deep mid wicket as he moves across. Goodman on strike. Halfway through the third over. And he just tickles this one fine and it beats the man at short fine leg. He chases it but he doesn't retrieve it. So Jad Goodman, he picks up another boundary, his second of the innings. He moves on to 10. The score moves on to 20. Josan James, a pretty expensive over for him so far. He's considered 14. And the Sale Gros Islet Knights in chase of 170. They are off to a good start. They are 20 without loss. And another change in the field. The man at fine leg drops to deep fine leg. There's a man at mid wicket. There's a point, extra cover point. As Goodman drives powerfully, opportunity there for James maybe, but in his follow through, unable to hold on. It was powerfully struck by Jad Goodman. Maybe it made contact with the umpire after James threw his hands at it in his follow through, unable to hold on. Can go down as a second miss of the innings. As James again bowls, this time outside the off stump, and Goodman just flirts with it. Doesn't make any contact, goes through to Jason Simon to complete the second. The Sale Gros Islet Knights in chase of 170. They are 20 without loss. Jad Goodman is on 10 and Kimani Melius is on 7. As the excitement continues to build here at the Fargue playing field, and if anybody is in the vicinity of this ground, I think you should really make your way to the stadium. Just have a look at the spectators, all clad in orange, the Craft Masters spectators, that is, making the atmosphere really vibrant and entertaining. As we see Bronte Bess replacing Choiseul Edward from the Piton end, and he's bowling to Kimani Melius. And this one is outside the off stump. Melius goes for the cut but misses. And Best. This time Bulls shot and Melius, he swivels this one past the man at shot flying leg and he quickly races into the boundary for 4. So Kimani Melius firmly on the accelerator. He picks up his second boundary. He's moved on to 11 and the score 24 without loss. Best continues. Shot again outside the line of the off stump. Melius a bit disappointed not to make any contact. Dot delivery. A good start by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. They go in at 9.6 and over. Well above the required rate of 8.34. As it pulls to Melius again, and Melius this time just pushes it into the offside. A bit of, I think it was a slower delivery by Bronte Bess, and no pace for Melius to work with. As Bess comes in again. Bosu Melius, this time he just pushes this one into the square leg region. Junior Henry comes across. Can't stop the single. They pick up 1. Score moves on by 1 to 25. 25 without loss. Final delivery of the third. Good overboard so far by Bronte Bess. Only 5 considered. As Bronte Bess makes another adjustment to the field. And he comes in for his final delivery of the third over. Goes to Goodman. This time down the leg side, there's a shot by the fielders, by the umpire. Stretches his arms and signals wide. Shot in Edward running in from deep mid wicket. Looks fairly convinced like he heard something. 1 more to the total. 26 without loss. Best to Goodman. This time he cuts, but shoot to Jimmy and Maka Thomas at the deep point region, who sends in a firm throw to the gloves of Jason Simon, and the third over, it comes to an end. A good one by Bronte Bess, only conceding 7. The SPL Gros Islet Knights, they are 27 without loss. Kimani Melius on 12 and Jad Goodman on 11. Josan James continues from the southern end, and this one just nips into Goodman, and James looking for the opportunity of a run out. Doesn't pick up cleanly, and Goodman gets another run, moves on to 12. Score moves on to 28. SPL Gros Islet Knights would be happy with the early exchanges in their reply. As James This time it's down the leg side and good take there by Simon, diving to his left, prevents a certain boundary. James with an expensive first over, went for 14. We'd want a good over here to pull back the Knights. As he pulls this one well lined on the line of the off stump. Melius pushes into the offside, unable to get a run. Score remains on 29. As we have a look at the Gros Islet Knights batting lineup, see lots of batting to come. Edward, Douglas, Jason, Chico. As Melius, this time he goes high, long and handsome over the long on region for his second maximum. Kimani Melius, he looks in ominous form. Second six hit off the bowling of Josan James. Another short delivery, and previously he went over the long off region, targeting long on this time. It's comfortably cleared the Fargue playing field as the umpires seek another replacement delivery. So the sale goes to the Knights in response to this total. They are 35 without loss, off to a very, very good start. As we see the conversation going on between young James and the coach on the boundary line. Probably not getting his length particularly right. Kimani Melius taking full advantage as the crowd at the Fargue playing field still continues to build in anticipation. They're going at 10s the Knights. James to Melius, who this time he pulls it into the vacant square leg region. One bounce into the boundary. He picks up 4, and Josan James proving correction. It's a 6. Clears the boundary at deep mid wicket. So Melius, he picks up his third maximum. Josan James proving very expensive in the power play. He's gone for 28 into his second over, and the Knights, they're off to a flying start. 41 without loss. James again into Melius, and this time it's full, and he hits it high and handsome straight over the bowler's head. Kimani Melius, he's on a roll. His third consecutive maximum, and the sale grows to the Knights. They're pushed on to 47. Kimani Melius showing his skill and class. Josan James, he follows up a very expensive over. His first going for 14 and his second already going for 20. And real concern here for the Craft Masters. They've conceded 47. And we haven't come to the completion of the fourth. Brilliant shot there by Melius. It was a full delivery outside the line of the off stump, and he just was able to go through the line. Hit it high and handsome. As Craft Masters have another consultation in the middle. Trevon James looking very animated. suggesting a change in the field. But the way Kimani Melius is hitting it, he seems to be hitting it over the fielder's head. As James would be happy to bring his second over to an end. One more delivery in the fourth. Man at deep mid wicket, man at deep square leg. The two fielders out. Melis, he goes again. Doesn't make contact this time, and Jusan James able to get out of this over, having conceded 20. So the Sale Gros Islet Knights, after 4 overs, they are 47 without loss. Kimani Melius is raced on to 30. Jad Goodman is on 12. They require 123 of 16 overs at a required run rate of 7.69 and over. As we see the first introduction of spin from the Choiseul Young Craft Masters, Janelle Edwards will be taking up the bowling from the northern end. The left arm orthodox, he'll be bowling over the wicket to Jad Goodman. We're still in the power play as we see a man posted at the deep mid wicket region and protection at deep long on. A short fine lead, short fin man, point, cover, extra cover, and mid off. Williams, a good man. This time is low to his left and not sure if it was a catch or maybe a bum ball. None to the Choiseul. Williams bowls to Goodman, and this time he can't get it away. Could only push it to the man at mid wicket. First introduction of spin. We only saw 2 overs of sim from the Sale Gros Islet Knights as Williams again flights it. But Goodman, he finds a gap at deep square leg. There's a chase by Edward. He's able to pull it in. And he gets 2 more to the total. He moves to 49. Goodman on 14 as he faces up and he's struck on the pad. A loud appeal. The umpire doesn't seem interested. Maybe going down the line of the leg stump. Loud shout there by the craft masters, Janelle Williams, as the introduction of spin has caused a significant dip in the scoring rate. Williams only going for 2 of his first 4 deliveries. And he bowls to Goodman. This time he looks to sweep straight to the man at short fine leg. There's no run. Goodman on 14 of 15 deliveries. Williams into the final delivery of his first over. And he bowls him straight through the defense of Jad Goodman. Janelle Williams picks up his first wicket and the first for the Craft Masters. Big strike. Jad Goodman is bowled with the score on 49. Final delivery of the fifth. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they lose their first wicket, 49 for 1. Chad Goodman has been comprehensively bowled off the bowling of Chanel Williams. It was a full delivery, almost Yorker length delivery, and Goodman unable to make any contact with that one, losing his middle stump. And the Craft Masters, they would be happy with this breakthrough, breaking the opening partnership with the score on 49.
So the departure of the big left-hander, gone for 14. A bit of a struggle for him. 14 from 16. And the pressure building on him, but a good delivery from Williams into the base of the stumps. So success for the Craft Masters as Tariq Edward comes in. That dismissal creating some excitement among the fans. Being introduced, and he will bowl to Kimani Melius. Best to Melius. Melius turns it away over the head of the infield, out towards the boundary to be pulled back. Will it? Oh, not so at all. Thought that it was Williams who had it covered, but the flick back not working. And 50 coming up for the Sale Gros Islet Knights as the captain Melius goes to 34. And Janelle Williams and Edward chasing back, not able to pull it back. 50 coming up in the 6th over. Best to Melius in defense. It's a good delivery. Plays it. The bowler. Moving. Melius again gets a good delivery. It's angled into him. And he plays away into the onside. Edward. Ball side Melius, so it stays 53 for 1. Best with a field change. To Melius. Melius hits over the head of the fielder. 6 of a long on. Short, and Melius hoiking that away and getting full value. So this goes to 40. The loss of Jad Goodman. Melius' 40 has come from 19 deliveries, 5 sixes, 2 fours, strike rate over 200. Ball being retrieved, and so the action will continue. So a bit of a challenge at a Fargue, makeshift barricade across the ground, the ball going through underneath. Best to Melius. Melius slower delivery, pace off, gets a single, pushing it into the offside. A quick response from Edward. End of the over, 60 for 1 with 41 from 20 balls to Kimani Melius. Let's look at the Worms. The Gros Islet one above, just getting closer to the blue, but the red of the Knights from the first over, they've been above that of the Craft Masters. Interesting that as we look at the crowd taking in the action, nice kaleidoscope of color there. We saw the Gros Islet Knights use a lot of spin. In fact, in the 20 overs, 18 overs of spin. But in the 6 so far, we have had, as we come to the end of the power play, just a 1 over of spin from Janelle Williams. So power play completed, 60 for 1 it is, 110 required at just under 8. Williams will move into Melius. Melius back and hits it towards extra cover. No run. Deep extra cover. Long off, long on. Deep mid wicket, deep square leg. Round the wicket. Williams to Melius. Flighted delivery, but full. And pushed into the offside. Hesitation. Finally, they go through for the single. Awkward return. Laffy not picking up cleanly. And so they take the single. Edward shedding the helmet as he will now face Williams. So Edward, in the 3 games, he has had 200s, 111 from 53 balls, 111 not out, 118 of 55. Williams to Edward. Edward is forward. Lays it up to extra cover. And there's no run. In both of those centuries, he started very slowly and then really accelerated. Williams to Edward. Edward turns it away. Will get off the mark. Yes. Turns it to long on for the single. 1 more to the total. 62 for 1. 2 deliveries left in the 7th over. Janelle Williams round the wicket. He'll bowl to Melius now. Short. Melius hoiks that. Doesn't get hold of it. Does he? Oh, he does. Well, 6. Oh, thought he didn't get hold of it. But that has gone a long way. And it has gone for 6 of a mid wicket. A miscue from Melius. Top edge of the bat. But such has been the power that he's been exhibiting. Clearing the boundary at mid-wicket, taking him to within 2 of his half-century. And the total 68 for 1. Williams will continue to Melius. Melius gets one floated outside the off-stump, gets the wide call. He didn't play at it. Thought it was too wide of his reach. 69 for 1. Williams continuing to Melius. Melius drives in the air. Could be caught at long off. Or put down. Oh, it wasn't a difficult catch. The fielder came forward. It was low. And, well, who's that? Well, catch put down. And Melius getting the single at the end of the over to go to 49. And after 7, it is 70 for 1. So, catch being put down. The fielder at long off. I think that was Joseph James who didn't take it. It was to his left and he put it down. And as he comes back, he's ruined the fact that he didn't take that. Yes, Joseph James, number 2, the man putting that down. And that could be a very costly miss because Melius, well, gotten alive on 49. Well, 48 he was. Start of over number 8 now. As we got some spin from this end. Simon bows to Melius, who clips it away to the mid-wicket fielder to get to his 50. So 50 for Kimani Melius. And 50 coming from 25 balls with the single. 71. And 99. 99. Belated acknowledgement by Melius of his teammates. 50 coming up. Scoring at exactly 200. A single to Tariq Edward through square leg. Forward square, correction. And the total going up. The Orange Army a little quiet with the drop chance. The Sale Gros Islet Knights in the ascendancy. 98 required at 7.74. Melius 50 from 25 faces. Simon bows to him. He's looking to turn it. And there's no run. So, first half century of SPL 6 for Kimani Melius. Over 500 runs in SPL 5. Plays back to the bowler, Alvina Simon. I think he got 518 in SPL 5. Sale Gros Islet Knight, the defending champions. Under pressure early in SPL 6, needing a victory there. Short and looking to cut that away. And not making contact. So stays 72 for 1. Different postures being taken by the fans. Simon bows to Melius, clipped away. Bringing the wide long on fielder into play. Over comes to an end. The 8th of the innings. At the end of which it is 73 for 1. Melius is 51 from 29. And Tariq Edward 2 from 3. Let's give you the summary if you're joining us for the first time. The Craftmasters, they won the toss and decided to bat. They got to 169 for 6 on the back of Henry's 55, not out. Edward got 36, 24 from Smith. 2 wickets for Edward. Tariq, 1 for Fannis and 1 for Douglas. And after 8 overs, the Sale Gros Islet Knights are 97 runs away. As Melius will get his 52nd run, pushes it down to the long off fielder. 74 now, 74 for 1. 96 required. Edward in strike. Janelle Williams into his 3rd over. He'll move in to Edward. Edward slapping it into the ground. There's no run, so he remains on 2. Williams to Edward. Edward clips it away to the mid-wicket fielder, away from him, in fact. Single will be taken. Choiseul James, a bit of a strain there, holding the back of the right thigh. As the total goes up to 75 for 1. Kimani Melius, 52 from 30, will come into strike. Williams wanting a change in the field. No change. He'll continue. Comes into Melius back. Melius miscues. Another catch to the long off fielder. This time he takes it. Oh, the same man redeeming himself as Melius opening up and hitting it down the throat of Choiseul James, who takes it on this occasion. And, well, end of Kimani Melius, who is gone, caught off the bowling of Williams, and the success number 2 for the Craftmasters. The Sale Gros Islet Knights captain going for 52 from 31, 6 sixes and 2 fours, a strike rate of just under 168. So Lee John coming out, and not often a fielder gets an opportunity to redeem himself in the identical position that he put the catch down within the space of a few deliveries, as Kimani Melius being dismissed. And of course, as a result, dancing in the stands. Lee John, the new batter, he will face Williams, who has picked up his second wicket. So Williams picking up both wickets, removing the openers. 75 for 2 it is. A bit of more chatter among the crowd. As usual at Fargue, appreciative crowd turning up and really supporting the action. Quite an atmosphere down here, and of course it would get even bigger as we go through the weekend. 2 double headers, Saturday, tomorrow, and Sunday. And action continuing in match number 17 as Williams will bowl to Lee John. Lee John off the back foot. Wants a single, a tight one, but a misfield by Sky Lafayette will allow it in the end. John getting off the mark. 76 for 2. 1 delivery left in the 9th. Tariq Edward will come in to strike. Williams will move into the right-hander. Edward is forward, pushes it up to extra cover or mid-off. Dot ball. Good end to the over. Good over overall. Very good over. Just the 3 runs coming and the wicket of Kimani Melius. Tremendous over from young Janil Williams. The 9th of the innings. 76 it is for 2. And, well, the fall of the 2 openers, a certain setback for the Sale Gros Islet Knights. And as that has happened, the red worm bending towards the blue. So parity in terms of what we have after 9, after 10, after 9, and just about even Steven ball, you'll see, as over number 10 about to start. It's going to be Alvina Salmon to pick up his second over. His first cost just 3. So the Craftmasters have really pulled it back. The back foot chopped away. Fine. Oh, good work on the edge of the circle. Henry, Junior Henry with the fielding. can't stop the single. Lee John picking up his second, 77 for 2. Simon in the 10th over moves into Edward. Edward is back, beats the bowler, will get the single to long off. Best with the long barrier. As Lee John gets, no, it's Edward getting a 4th run, 78 for 2. John will now be in strike. Simon to him, goes back looking to cut dangerously. It's very close to the off stump and not far from the top edge into the gloves of the keeper. Little naughty stroke there, you might say, but John may be saying, well, it was on, I just missed it. Dot ball, 78 for 2. Simon, good over so far, just 2 of the 3 balls. It comes in to John. John gets one that's down the leg side, looking to paddle it away. They've gone for one, they'll think of the second, they'll get it. As Lafay is a little slow to release it. 2 taken from the bat, so John doubles his score. 80 for 2. 90 required at 8.71. Simon to him, he's gone long and big over mid wicket, 6. In the slot and able to get under it and hoik it away between the wide long on and the deep mid wicket fielder. So clearing the boundary. His first maximum. Lee John takes the total to 86 for 2. 1 delivery left in the 10th. Reduces the overall requirement to 84. 84 from 10.1. Another ball change will probably happen here as the maximums tend to present difficulty in being returned immediately. But Lee John was on a bent right knee there, getting under that and hoiking it away and bringing umpire John Mathry back onto the field with his box of replacement balls. So as we look at the over by over situation, so big over there for the SPL Gros Islet Knights, the 4th of the innings, and they are keeping pace with the requirement. Started at Simon bowls to John. John slaps it away out towards the sweeper, long off. Oh, doesn't feel it. Bronte Bess got there but not able to hold on. He got a bit of heckling from the SPL Gros Islet Knights dugout behind him. Had it covered but just didn't hold on. So a boundary to Lee John as the over comes to an end. So we have come to the halfway mark of the innings. Exactly 80 now needed from 10 overs. And as the two teams take a drinks break, and they no doubt will reflect, an opportunity for us to just bring you the summary. As 169 for 6 was the effort by the Craftmasters. And after 10 overs, the halfway mark, the Gros Islet Knights, they are 80 runs away and they need to strike at exactly 8 per over. So it is quite nicely set. As we look at the Worms, the Gros Islet Knights just above, well, they have been so throughout the innings. And so wickets required by the Craftmasters. As the players refresh themselves, we'll also take a break.
Yo, wicked. Yo, bad. And if anyone lost their mobile phone, please check the security area. If you lost your mobile phone, please check the security area.
We get ready for the resumption. Williams to start over number 11. Comes and the balls to Edward. Edward beaten outside the off stump. Good delivery from Williams. Spinning away from the right-hander. Williams into his fourth over. 2 for 15. Balls to Edward. Edward is kept scoreless. Turning it to the mid-wicket fielder. No run. Good start after the break by Williams and the Craftmasters. Williams to Edward. Edward turns it away again to the mid-wicket fielder. Good stuff from Williams. Really good stuff. Kept things quiet, and that's a good comeback. In previous games, he tended to be under the pump. Flighted delivery, full toss, hit down the ground, straight. Can the fielder come across? No, can't. So the good work being released there as a boundary to Tariq Edward, taking the total to 94 for 2.
Yeah, release of the pressure there by Johnny Williams after bowling 3 very good deliveries. He delivered a full toss and Tariq Edward was able to drive this one straight long on region. The fielder coming from long off could not cut it off and he picks up a boundary.
Edward goes to 8. Williams round the wicket to him. He goes back and chops it away and put down right through the hands of Sky Lafay at backward point. That wasn't a difficult catch. That just went right through him. And behind him for 4. A life to Tariq Edward, a man you could ill afford to drop. He goes to double figures, 12. 98 for 2. After that wasn't a difficult chance.
Yeah, by these standards at the SPL, you expect, especially a player like Sky Lafay, to take this one. And a little bit too casual and salt to injury went to the boundary for 4.
98 for 2. Williams bowls to Edward, who's kept quiet, lays it away in front of him, and ends the over, ends the spell by Janeel Williams. Unfortunate as he goes away, could well have picked up his 3rd, but he completes his quarter. 4 overs, 2 for 23. The 2 wickets were fallen, and at the end of 11, The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they had 98 for 2, needing 72 at 8 pour over.
Yes, the Choiseul Craftmasters, having dropped Jad Goodman, have put down Tariq Edward in the previous over from Janelle Williams. And when you're defending a target like 170, you need to take all your opportunities. And we saw the Sale Gros Islet Knights being very efficient in the field, taking all their catches, diving, putting their body on the line. And the Craftmasters would have to do the same if they going to defend this target. As we see a change in the bowling. Shonil Edward, looks like a change of ends for him. He's bowled 1 over so far, and he'll be coming from the southern end.
Ace being brought back. Edward with a long run beyond the 30-yard circle. Will bowl to Lee John. John is 14 from 6, start of over number 2. 3. She's on top. Push it to the mid-wicket fielder. 98 for 2. As Edward goes away from us, goes to John. John, miscued pull, will get a single to long on. James is there. 99 for 2, 71 needed, just above 8. So when it started, it was at 8.5. That's the chase, and they have whittled it down just about on par with the requirement. It hasn't gone much beyond that. It's currently 8.19. Edward, 12 from 13 in strike. Edward to Edward. A loose stroke from Tariq, looking to maybe run that down to third man. Luckily for him, no touch to the keeper. So this surface at the Fargue playing field has played quite well. I think it surprised me because when I looked at the wicket, I thought it was very dry. Thought it would have misbehaved, but it has played well overall. Edward to Edward, short and looking to pull, drops short of the keeper, and by taken. That will bring up the 100 for the Sale Gros Islet Knights. So 100 for 2 in the 12th over, and laying a good platform for the overall target of 170.
Yes, so the Sale Gros Islet Knights in pursuit of 170. They are 100 for 2. Good partnership being built here by Lee John and Tariq Edward. John the more aggressive, he's on 15 of 8 deliveries.
Edward to John. John drives to the backward point. Henry is there, and there's no run. Good over this one from Shonil Edward, keeping things tight. 70 required at 8.4. John in strike. Shonil Edward moving away from us to John. John is forward, a bit of a pace-off delivery, plays it square into the offside. The return comes in, has to be backed up. Williams doing the extra work. In the end, it didn't cost Junior Henry, firing in it at the striker stumps. End of the over. A good one from Edward, keeping things quiet. 12 completed. 101 for 2, 69 required.
Yeah, so we're in for a very exciting finish to this encounter. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they're off to a good start in pursuit of 170. Yeah, 101 for 2. Lee John is on 15, the real aggressor in this partnership. Tariq Edward playing the real anchor role. He's on 12 of 15. And the Craftmasters, I really believe they need some wickets if they are going to restrict the SPL Gros Islet Knights, as we see the introduction of Vince Smith, the captain. He's decided to bring himself on from the northern end. He will be bowling right arm over the wicket, and he'll be bowling to Lee John.
John, 16 from 10. We'll do battle against the off spinner. He's going to come in short and looking to cut it. It's wide by Napoleon with the signal. 102. 102. 102 for 2. Smith moving into John. John back, guides it away into the offside. Pushes it, really. Pushes it to extra cover. Squarish cover. One more. Milking the bowling. Turning the strike. Edward in strike. Smith to Edward. Edward goes big down the ground. On the bounce to the long off fielder, who completes the fielding. Bronte Bess. 1 to Edward. 103 for 2. Edward going to 13. Bringing Lee John back into strike. Smith to John. John fetches it from outside the off stump. Paddles it to the deep mid-wicket fielder. And the single taken as James. Now posted in that area. So the sweep being fetched from wide of off stump, getting John his 18th run. Short, smashed into the offside, 4 runs, beating the man in the inner ring to his right, and away into the vacant deep extra cover boundary for 4. So Edward getting himself a boundary to go to 17 and take the total to 109 for 2.
This time Vince Smith just dropping short and wide, and Tariq Edward with his class able to beat the man at the short extra cover region.
Smith to Edward, short, smash down the ground for 4. Is that? We'll wait for the umpire. And confirmation, yes. Didn't clear the boundary, but it was hit powerfully straight over the stumps at the non-striker's end. Successive boundaries to Edward, taking him to 21. And the total 113 for 2. Smith moving in to Edward. Edward back, hits that high. Does it have enough? Yes, to clear the boundary. At wide long off. All of a sudden, an explosion from Tariq Edward that has brought him some 14 runs in the last 3 balls, completing the 13th over as he has gone quickly to 27. 119 it is for 2 after 15.
Yes, we've seen this explosion before from Tariq Edward. We've seen it at the Francis Babalastic Stadium, and we've seen it here tonight at the Fargue playing field. And we must remember that he was dropped not too long ago at the Point region, as we see almost as a surprise a drizzle or rain coming down at the Fargue playing field. It seems to be coming from the east, and it's sweeping across the ground. I don't think it's enough to stop play at the moment, but the SPL Gros Islet Knights, they're well on the way to securing victory here at the Fargue playing field. They require another 51 of just 42 deliveries with 8 wickets in hand.
So drizzle, just reminding us that play can be interrupted, but it doesn't seem to be too serious. As we speak, it is getting a bit lighter as we start the over. Lofted out towards the onside. The fielder going back, couldn't take the catch. No! Oh, misjudged it. It went high. But as it came down, it seemed to have sort of dipped on him, maybe with the breeze. And Vince Smith, I think, on the boundary, missing it, and the ball falling into the infield and going over the boundary for 123 for 2.
Yeah,
that's John would benefited from that. Simon continues to John. John smashes it on the ground. Can the fielders come across? Yes, they do. They keep it in place. Just a single. James, this time completing the fielding as John gets one. He goes to 23, 124 for 2.
Bad misjudgment there by Vince Smith on the deep mid-wicket boundary, missing this opportunity to get rid of Lee John.
Simon goes to John. John miscues. Simon to John. John getting a single, not in control. In fact, it's Edward who has gotten the single. Did they take 2 there, or was there 1?
One.
So 1 to Edward. Ball falling short of Henry. 125 for 2. 45 needed at 6.92. So the recent boundaries have really reduced the required rate. Simon to John, flighted delivery. John gets forward, comes forward, gets the single. Good response from Edward as they go through quickly. 126 for 2. Simon moving in to Edward. Edward turns it away through forward square. They think of the second. They'll go for it. The return will come in low to the keeper, who doesn't take cleanly. And so Edward arriving safely for the second. Good aggressive running there between the two. Good understanding. Good communication. 128 for 2 as Edward moving to 30, or is it 120? Yes, 128 for 2. Edward on 30.
Yes, the Sale Gros Islet doing it quite easily at the moment. They're putting the bad balls away and they're easily rotating strikes, something we didn't see from the Craft Masters during the innings. As Tariq Edward and Lee John, they continue to put on a very good partnership in pursuit of 170.
Simon bowls a slower delivery, held back, played away by Edward, not falling for the temptation, clipping it to long on for a single to complete the 14th over of the innings. 129 for 2. The Sale Gros Islet Knights, they need 41 from 6 overs.
Yeah, not much pressure on the Sale Gros Islet Knights. Lee John is batting beautifully. He's been put down. Tariq Edward also has been put down. And as we have a look at the worm, the Sale Gros Islet Knights comfortably in front of the Choiseul Craft Masters at this very point. They've only lost 2 wickets and they're well on their way to securing another victory. They only require 41 of 46 deliveries, and the Craft Masters would have to do something almost miraculous if they want to pull this one back.
As we look at the bowling options, so only Janelle Williams having completed his quota. So Edward, James, Best to come back. It's Best coming back. Coming back also is the Drizzle, with us here at Fargue. Still light and not enough to stop play. Over number 15, Best amidst the Drizzle, moving into Edward. Edward chops it away. Diving attempt by Edward in the circle, will not cut off the boundary. Chopped away to his left. Nicely placed by Edward, getting another boundary, taking him to 34, and the total 133 for 2.
Beautiful shot there by Tariq Edward. He waited on that one and almost played it behind him, past the man at backward point for a boundary.
His 5th boundary. Drives is ahead of the fielder at deep extra cover. And going all the way for 4. Another exquisite stroke from Tariq Edward. Takes him to 39. And the total 137 for 2. His 6th boundary, make it. And reducing the requirement to 33. Best under pressure with 2 boundaries from his first 2 balls in this over. Balls to Edward. Edward back. And plays in defense. So dot ball recorded. Edwards 39 has come from 25 balls, 6 fours and 1 6. Best needing a wicket to keep the Craftmasters in the game. Comes into Edward. Edward drives nicely out towards the sweeper. Will get the return in. Left-handed return from Williams. And a 40th run for Tariq Edward. 138 for 2. Lee John, his partner. 24 from 15 coming in to strike. 32 needed.
Really enjoying himself out there, Tariq Edward. He looks very comfortable in this chase.
Best to John. John edges it down to third man. Laffey. Oh, it bounces off of him and goes across the rope for 4. Oh, a poor piece of fielding there from Sky Laffey. Really didn't have the commitment to keep that away from the boundary. Coming off of his hand and then dribbling over the boundary to cause heartbreak to the Craftmasters fans. 142 for 2. A boundary there gifted to Lee John as he goes to 28.
Really a poor effort there by Sky Laffey on the third man boundary. And you can see a real contrast between the SPL Gros Islet Knights fielding and the Craftmasters fielding.
Best to John. John plays and misses outside the over. End of a frustrating over from Best. 3 boundaries coming from it. The 15th of the innings. 142 for 2. 28 needed at 5.6.
So from this position, the SPL Gros Islet Knights, they're in command of this game really. They're in pursuit of 170 and they only require 28 from 30 deliveries. Tariq Edward, he's not out on 40 and Lee John on 28. They've formed a very good partnership after losing the second wicket and they're really on their way, Claudius, to another victory. And it seems like the Craftmasters, the shoulders have dropped, the heads have dropped. We've seen some poor fielding and poor catching as the partnership has blossomed into 67 in double quick time of only 38 deliveries. And the 2 batters will be looking to take their team home in this encounter.
28. They are away from the target. Alvina Simon starts the new over. Balls full toss and hoiked away and caught on the boundary at long on. It all seemed to happen in slow motion, but the end of Tariq Edward looking to deposit a low full toss over the ropes at long on. He has holed out to the fielder. So success for the Craftmasters as we see the back of Tariq Edward going caught James, bowl Simon for 40 as this is now 142 for 3.
Tariq Edward will be very disappointed with that dismissal. It was a full toss, he got it on the full and he'd be looking to clear it long over the bowler's head. Didn't get the contact and Trevon James settling underneath it. Finally they take a comfortable catch and they've dismissed Edward. He's gone for 40, unable to carry his team home, but a very good effort from him. He has his team well on the way to victory and he would want the incoming batters to just put the icing on the cake as Dylan Douglas makes his way to the strike.
The overseas player will get ready to take his first delivery. A setback for the SPL Gros Islet Knights. But a bit of pressure being applied as Douglas is about to face his first delivery. Slip was, well, initially coming in, but now being pulled away. Simon will bowl to Douglas. Short, chopped away, straight to the fielder at point. And no run. Lee John having to come back into his crease at the non-striker's end. So it stays 142 for 3. 28 needed. Simon to Douglas. Douglas back will get the single on this occasion as he plays it to mid-off. And one taken. So Douglas off the mark. 143 for 3. 27 needed.
Alvina Simon looking to complete a very good spell. He has figures of 1 for 28 halfway through his fourth.
Simon to John. John smashes it down the ground. Can James get across? No, he can't. 4 to John. Slapped almost straight down the ground. It went to the straight long on position. James is wider. Couldn't come across to cut it off. A boundary to Lee John, taking him to 32. 147 for 3. Simon again to John. John back, hits it this time straight to James. He will not do a sky laffy, doing the fielding. And Simon almost does a laffy as he's backed up by the keeper. So one more to John. John goes to 33. 148 for 3. 22 runs away, the Sale Gros Islet Knights.
Yeah, very good innings played here by Lee John, keeping at number 4 position.
Simon to Douglas. Douglas plays it into the offside. Wants a single. It's not on. End of the over. The 16th of the innings. 148 for 3. 22 needed from 24 balls.
Alvina Simon coming to the end of his spell. He's taken 1 for 33. Not a bad return for him. As we have a look at the over chart, and the Sale Gros Islet Knights clearly with more towers than the Choiseul Craft Masters, and they are well on their way to securing victory here at the Fargue playing field. They are 148 in pursuit of 170, and they only require 22 at less than a run a ball, 5.50.
The Craft Masters needing some quick wickets. They have to put pressure on the Sale Gros Islet Knights. They have 7 wickets in hand, the Knights. And they've got a set batsman in Lee John. And they have batting to come. Likes of Chico still in. Chanel Edwards starts a new over, the 17th of the innings, and bowls wide of off stump, but no wide call, so it stays 148 for 3. Lee John holding the innings together, that partnership of 60 odd with Edward. Down the leg side, over the head of the keeper, and away for 4. 4 runs. Pace off and full down the leg side, and scooped away by Lee John to bring him another boundary, taking him to 37. And a 150 coming up for the Sale Gros Islet Knights. 152 for 3.
Some improvisation there by Lee John, going down low and getting that one over the head of the keeper down to the fine leg boundary for 4. Brings the total required to less than 20. They require 18.
Edward to John. John looking to clip that away wide of the leg stump. Now call wide by umpire Napoleon. One more to the total. John missing out on a loose delivery. Edward thought there was something, asking the umpire, but just getting the wide call. 17 required. 153 for 3.
He's been given his chances, John, but I've been very impressed with the innings he's played so far. He's held the middle order together, he's been attacking, and he's put pressure on the Craft Masters.
Edward to John, clipped away past Edward in the follow through, will get the single. That's all there is. So John milking when he has to and smashing the boundaries when he thinks he has the opportunity. Reduces the requirement with the single to 16, 154 for 3 as Douglas comes into strike. So match 17 coming to a conclusion. Down the leg side, goes through the keeper and will go for 4. Will go down the hill as well in the southern end of the ground. Poor work by Simon on this occasion, not picking that up. It was down the leg side and the leg glance was missed by Douglas, and that has gone through keeper Jason Simon. 4 to the total, 159 for 3. Gros Islet Knights getting to within 11 of the target now.
Yes, almost formalities being played out here at the Fargue playing field. This one down the leg side, Jason Simon unable to collect quickly. It was signaled wide, so 5 wides to the total. The Knights, they only require 11 as the crowd that has assembled here at the Fargue playing field a bit subdued. They were looking forward to a Craft Masters victory or maybe even a tight encounter, but the Knights seem to be doing it easily. They only require 3.5 per over, and we might see the game coming to an end in this over maybe.
Well, let's see what mood that Douglas is in as Edward to Douglas plays away defensively and then picks it up for Edward. 159 for 3, 11 runs away, still 3 overs after this one, and the 170 target after it didn't look all that bad, but I think the start that the Knights were able to put up with Kimani Melius in particular really stole the initiative in the chase. Edward to Douglas. Oh, that's a full delivery. That is a no ball. It's a high full toss. Almost decapitating Douglas, that had to take evasive action. Oh, one that slipped out of the grasp of Edward. And no ball called. 1 to the total, 160 for 3. And then now a free hit to Douglas. So it's going quite badly for the Craft Masters as Bess comes in to him. That's launched down the ground for 6 over long on, using his feet on Bess and smashing him over long on for 6 to really continue what is not a good over for the Craft Masters at all, as Douglas goes to 7. And it's 166 for 3, 4 runs away from the target, the SPL Gros Islet Knights.
Dylan Douglas, what a hit. This one cleared the trees in the background by some distance, and that continues a very bad over for Choiseul Edward. Before this over, he had figures of none for 8. He has considered 18 and still 1 delivery to go. Reduces the required runs to 4, sorry. Getting a little bit carried away to 4. So only 4 required by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. They are 166 for 3. And Dylan Douglas, no doubt, would be wanting to bring this game to a conclusion.
Bess. Correction. It's Edward. I think I probably said Bess at some balls in the over. My apologies. It's actually Choiseul Edward coming in to Douglas. Whips away for 6 over backward square leg. And that's the game. Success and victory, in fact, for the Gros Islet Knights, with Douglas hoiking that over backward square leg for 6 to bring the total to 170 for 3. So comprehensive win in the end by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. They've reached the target of 170 with the loss of just 3 wickets, with the man hitting the 2 boundaries, 2 maximums to take them over the line. Dylan Douglas, with Lee John remaining not out on 37. And a comfortable victory in the end. It didn't look all that it was going to happen that way, Arthur, because at 169 for 6, the Craftmasters effort, we thought that we would have had a much tighter game, but in the end, the margin of victory quite comfortable for the Gros Islet Knights.
Yeah, like you said, Claudius, at 169 for 6 at the halfway stage, I would have expected a better fight by the Craftmasters. I would expect the Gros Islet Knights to be put under much more pressure. However, they seem to have gotten to that target of 170 very easily. At the end, they got to it in 17 overs, going at 10 and over. So going at a good rate, actually. Kimani Melius, he was brilliant in the beginning. He got to 52. Tariq Edward and Lee John, they had a very good partnership, which I think really took the game away from the Craftmasters. The Craftmasters, they didn't help themselves too much. There were many misfields. There were a few chances which went down, and they really have themselves to blame. But one other thing I want to note is that the SPL Gros Islet Knights, I think they had many more spin options, and they only used 2 overs of seam. However, the Craftmasters, with only their 3 options of spin, had to keep going back to the Pacers, and I think that really played into the hands of the SPL Gros Islet Knights.
Absolutely, and I think that is where perhaps that's the factor that maybe accounted for the success of the Knights. I think they read the surface better in terms of the predominant use of spin, so credit to Kimani Melius. And in the chase, that start in the power play, he's 52 from 31. In my book, maybe the thing that really put them in the ascendancy, and perhaps a candidate for the man of the match.
Most definitely. I think he played brilliantly. That start by the SPL Gros Islet Knights. And in a chase like 160, it can always get tricky. You can always quickly fall behind the required run rate. But his innings put Gros Islet Knights in a position where the batters to come could play comfortably, rotate the strike, put away the bad balls, and in the end, they did it fairly easily. And congratulations to the SPL Gros Islet Knights on another victory as they move up in the table. And the Craftmasters, they suffer another defeat, the 3rd of the season, and they would need something really special if they're gonna make any move forward in the SPL T20.
Indeed, so that is where we will wrap it up on commentary in this game number 17. Success for the SPL Gros Islet Knights, and we will wrap up here and just indicate to you that we ask you to stand by for the post-match, and just to remind you that of course the action will continue tomorrow with a double header right here at the Fargue playing field, and we will have 2 games for you as the action will continue. So on behalf of Arthur Eugene, that's where we wrap up on commentary, but asking you to hold on for the post-match presentation.
Bad problem.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-match ceremony for this game, SPL 6, match number 17. Victory by the SPL Brazilian Knights, 7 wickets with 3 overs to spare. Let's speak to the losing captain, Vince Smith.
Hello.
Vince, a difficult day for you in front of you.
On the field.
You didn't get to defend the target. What do you think?
Hey. I don't know. I hope she's not there waiting for me. Let me ask her.
The use of the pitch, we saw the Brazilian Knights use a lot more spin than you. Okay, good luck. You still all the best for the coming games. And now, already here, Kimani Melius, the captain of the SPL Brazilian Knights.
Success for you, Kimani. You achieved your first target of getting one of the 4 victories that you need to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, it's good to get back to winning ways. Let me say commiserations to Craft Masters. They played an excellent game of cricket, but we were better tonight. Our bowlers must be commended, and let me single out Beyond. From coming in for his first game, he bowled very well, and he kept us bowling well in the power play.
And can you assess the pitch for us? Because you mentioned Beyond, but you all only used 2 overs of seam for the full 20. What was the thinking there?
Well, it could have gone either way. Had I bowled more fast bowlers, we could have gotten the same result. But we still get a positive result. Spin played a big part tonight. The wicket was very slow, so we assessed very quickly, and we realized spin had to play a big part tonight.
Okay, Kimani, congratulations to you for the winning captain. But I'll have you to stay because in terms of the man of the match, we assess that your performance, 53 from 21 balls, has won you the man of the match award. So we ask you to stay. No, we still have to talk to you. But let's have the presentation by Dennis Herman, who is going to make the presentation of the Colin John Man of the Match Award. And Ms. Herman is a teacher at the Choiseul Secondary School, recently received her award for the Coach of the Year. And she's the coach of J.D. Manuel, our double gold medalist from the 2025 Carifta Games. So, quick word with you, Kimani. So not only did you set it up in the power play with that 53 from 21, but we also believe that your use of the wickets by utilizing 18 overs of spin was also a contributory factor. Tell us what were your thoughts in the decision to use spin and also how you manage it in the power play whilst you're chased.
Well, like I said, the wicket was slow. It looked dry, so spin was the best thing to do tonight, bowl tonight. Concerning my innings, I still believe I could have done better and take the game a little bit deeper. I got out at a crucial stage in the game, but let me commend Lee John Vino for batting deep.
Okay, thank you very much, Kimani. Success for you. All the best going forward. So that's how we come to the end of the post-match presentation for game number 17. Success for the SPL Gros Islet Knights by 7 wickets. Reminding you, of course, that the action continues tomorrow, Saturday, with a doubleheader right here at the Fargue playing field. And of course, we also have a doubleheader on Sunday. That's all from us for tonight. Asking you to stay tuned for the action, more action in the coming days. Good night.